So there is literally no space between that tree and the outhouse. And this tree used to be here and fell between that tree and the outhouse. I don't get it.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. Most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example, all of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children. I distinguish between the deep state, which is the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and the Chabad Jews. And then they use the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta as fixers, and they use the City of London, Wall Street, central banks as managers. That's the deep state. Below the deep state is the shadow government, which is comprised of the politicians and senior bureaucrats, many of the murderous pedophiles that have been brought into the pedophilia system as a control blackmail element. Those are the shadow government people. But they're not the deep state. They're the best of the servant class. The different ways in which the deep state, and particularly the Zionist supporting foundation for the deep state, which has the Anti-Defamation League as its primary secret police, they censor, manipulate, and digitally assassinate people. And the reason they do this is because those people are getting close to the truth. These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load.
Plants are rooted to the ground and have a small negative charge. The higher up the plant you go, the greater the electric charge. This creates an electric field around the flower. We can't see it, but these electrodes are picking up the energy of this tiny field and converting it into the sound that we can hear. Bees, on the other hand, have a positive charge. Friction whilst flying causes them to lose electrons. As a bee approaches a flower, the charged fields around the flower and the bee interact, and the sound changes. There. And when it lands, the positive and negative fields immediately cancel each other out. As this happens, there are two very surprising consequences. Firstly, the plant's negatively charged pollen actually jumps across onto the positively charged bee. Secondly, the plant has a changed electrical field, and when another bee comes along, it detects this altered electrical signature and avoids the flower. The plant is in effect telling the bee that it has no nectar and to come back later. Plants are rooted to the ground and have a small negative charge. The higher up the plant you go, the greater the...
Did you report on an episode called Frazzle Drip?
Yes.
And is Frazzle Drip something about cutting off the faces of children under a pizza parlor, or what is it? Can you tell me what Frazzle Drip is, Phil?
Yeah. Frazzle Drip is a video that was on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder on his desktop titled Insurance. And the laptop in question was taken during a investigation into Anthony Weiner. And the video in question, Frazzle Drip, was in that folder. And video depicts a woman who is the same height, build, haircut, facial features, and attire as Hillary Clinton. And there is a second woman who fits the same description to Huma Aberdeen, which was Anthony Weiner's wife. And in the video, which looks like the basement of Comet Pizza in Washington, D.C., it shows both of the females in the video laying different children on top of ping pong tables, which are in the basement, molesting those children, frightening those children with weapons, and then drinking something, which would line up with the theory that it is the blood of those children for purposes of extracting adrenochrome.
Did you report on an episode called Frazzle Drip?
Yes.
And is Frazzle Drip something about cutting off the faces of children under a pizza parlor, or what is it? Can you tell me what Frazzle Drip is, Phil?
Yeah.
Watch these women start having orgasms when they talk about killing babies. We're going to play video. Women like literally rubbing their legs. Going, Look, these people want to rape babies, okay? I mean, it's real simple. They love Satan. They want to kill babies. They've told me this to my face. I go to Democrat events. They walk up and go, I love Satan. I'm going to kill you. I kill babies. And you're like, oh, they're just doing that to freak me out. No. We've infiltrated their groups. The salivation and women saying they have orgasms while they murder their babies. And they sycophantically talk about how it's going to be so much fun. Oh, I've got a little girl. She's 6 months old. I'm going to take pictures with her chopped up body. These are real quotes. And you think, well, this isn't a real person. And then you go find out it's real. And then you go out to an abortion clinic to demonstrate, and Antifa shows up with their mask off and start putting black in front of your camera. Ugly tar paper. It's like only a demon would just, and the way they walk and move is all satanic. It's all just, they're totally under its control. And they just look at you and they go, I've killed 40 of my children. And then I talk to people that actually know these people, and they go, no, that's what they do. And they go and they look at the dead baby, and they go, and they spit up, they go, you little.
Here's 5 reasons.
When they first found petroleum, because they were beginning to make motors and needed on axles or wheels on railroad trains and all that sort of thing, then oil went from just a lubricant to a fuel, and it made it valuable. And Rockefeller happened to be the smartest man in the business at the time. So in order to get the price up, they hit on the idea that they would have to make it appear to be scarce. In 1892, there was a convention in Geneva of scientists to determine what organic substances are. Well, the definition of organic is a substance with hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. Rockefeller took advantage of sending some scientists over who said oil, petroleum, is hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. They defined oil as a residue from formerly living matter. Well, that makes it a fossil fuel. And another thing we should know is that there has never been a fossil, a real fossil, found below 16,000 feet. We mine oil, or we drill for oil, at 30,000, 33,000, 28,000 every day of the week. So right there, we rule it out that it isn't fossil fuel. It's called fossil fuel for the minds of the public to feel that it is an asset that is running out, being depleted. We talk about depletion allowance, which is a lot of, and actually, if you know the world's oil supply, you know that it is not going to run out for an awfully long time. It is the second most prevalent liquid on Earth.
Why did you actually kill the girls?
My frustration, my inability to communicate socially, sexually. I wasn't impotent, but emotionally I was impotent. I was scared to death of failing in male-female relationships. I knew absolutely nothing about that whole area, even if just sitting down and talking with a young lady. I need to be able to really communicate, and ironically enough, that's why I began picking people up. And I'm picking up young women, and I'm going a little bit farther each time. It's a daring kind of a thing. At first there wasn't a gun. I'm driving along. We go to a vulnerable place where there aren't people watching, where I could act out, and I say, no, I can't. And then a gun is in the car, hidden. And this craving, this awful, raging, eating feeling inside. I could feel it consuming my insides. This fantastic passion. It was overwhelming me. It was like drugs. It was like alcohol. A little isn't enough. At first it is. And as you adjust to that psychologically and physically, you take more and more and more. It's the same process. So it finally came down to the thing of, do I dare bring this gun out? Already realizing if that gun comes out, something has to happen. It was going to happen. I didn't see it then, but it was going to happen. I was playing a dangerous game with a loaded gun that got us all.
Why did you actually kill the girls?
My frustration, my inability to communicate socially, sexually. I wasn't impotent, but emotionally I was impotent. I was scared to death of failing in male-female relationships. I knew absolutely nothing about that whole area, even if just sitting down and talking with a young lady. I need to be able to really communicate, and ironically enough, that's why I began picking people up. And I'm picking up young women, and I'm going a little bit farther each time. It's a daring kind of a thing. At first there wasn't a gun. I'm driving along. We go to a vulnerable place.
What do I mean? He formed something called the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission is some spooky stuff. People said it was something, people that, the Illuminati, there's some mystery about it, people that ran the world. It was politicians, but David said, most countries, the politicians get elected for 4 years or 8 years, separate from the royal families in England or in the Middle East. Someone's there for 4 years and then they're not there anymore. The most important people to have stability and consistency would be businessmen. So he formed this Trilateral Commission of businessmen and politicians from 3 major continents. So it was the North Americans, the Europeans, and the Asians. So he said to me, would you like to be on the Trilateral Commission? No. I was 30 years old, 32 years old.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's trapped.
As you can see,
The death is irreversible, and the fact.
So if you bought like a DeWalt laser level at Home Depot and it paints that line across the wall, and then you put something in front of the laser to kind of diffuse it. So you take it from being a really thin laser line and then spread that sucker out so it's like 6 inches wide, big fat line of laser on the wall. And then you get somebody that's on DMT or psychedelics, almost any psychedelic, I think. When you look at that, you can see, number one, you can see through the wall.
you can see through the wall.
You can see through the wall.
Where the laser is, or just through the wall?
Right where the laser is, you can see through the wall. You can even put it on your arm.
How did you get...
The code changes on your arm. If your arm gets in front of where the wall is, the code is completely different.
Are you what?
What is he talking about?
I didn't believe this. So this was viral on TikTok. Someone stole the TikTok video and reposted it on their X account. I saw this guy. His name is Danny Goler. I see this video and I'm watching the behavior of the people observing everything to see if they're lying. Because I'm a behavioral expert. I'm looking for deception and lies and all this stuff all the time. They were all truthful. So I called my assistant. I said, get this guy, wherever he is, fly him to my house, or fly him where we can meet up somewhere. I want to try this out. So we flew to a place, we wound up flying to a place where DMT is not illegal, and we shine this thing on the wall. And I've never done DMT before until this day. And oh my God, that's a whole nother 3-hour podcast. But while you are in the DMT state, you get close to the wall and you can see code that looks kind of like alien writing, like you'd see, and then some that look like kanji Japanese characters. And if you move your head, the code stays in the same place. And if you move the laser on the wall, like you take the laser level and scoot it up, different code reveals itself as the laser is moving.
Wow.
And then you get 2 or 3 people lined up and they all see the same thing. First time I saw it, I wept. You're seeing something, but you're left with no answers. Like the only thing you have coming out of that is like, what the hell did I just see?
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't give you any more knowledge about anything. But the big thing is, why are we seeing code, and where is it coming from, and what is it made of? And why does everyone see the same exact characters if they're all looking at the same place?
Man, that is crazy.
That's
It
true.
is bizarre. And if you put your arm in front of it, the code completely changes, but only right where your arm is.
Do you have any theories on this?
None.
Nothing.
Once you see it, like your ability to think that you have shit figured out is gone.
I already have a feel of a lack of control.
Have you ever thought about what a circle sounds like? Well, it sounds like this. Just a frequency of sine and cosine. How do you see the circle? Well, if you press these buttons that are out of frame, there you go, there's the circle. Now, what about a square? Well, let's turn off the circle for a second. There's the square. The square looks like this, a little bit different than the circle, but still more or less just a wave. So go back to this view. Now what happens if you play the sound of the circle over the sound of the square? Well, turn back on the circle. If we turn back on the square, we can see that as we slowly increase the frequency, we can watch the circle outline the square. Now watch what happens if we slowly increase the frequency. And look at the patterns that emerge. Have you ever thought about what a circle sounds like?
The British royal family has been flatlie royal since 1840.
Explain that.
Flatlie royal means illegitimate, not allowed on the throne. So, from the Battle of Waterloo, the British royal family lost all their money, and they've been funded by the Rothschilds in exchange for breeding rights. So the Rothschilds had the breeding rights to the British royal family from 1819 to 2019.
So what was the purpose of the Rothschilds needing this?
The British royal family were virtually bankrupt from 1815. So the Rothschilds funded the British royal family in exchange for the Rothschilds breeding the royals. So the whole British royal family are Rothschild Batards. And Batard is the royal name for bastard. So what I did in my legal documents is I exposed King George V of England as being sired by Tsar Alexander III of Russia, and I exposed Queen Elizabeth II as sired by artificial insemination by Winston Churchill, who was actually the illegitimate son of King Edward VII. The British royal family has been flatlie royal since 1840.
Explain that.
Flatlie royal means illegitimate, not allowed on the throne. So, from...
What you're seeing right next to me here is a screenshot from a video I took of a vampiric spirit that has haunted my family for at least 5 generations. I personally have captured it on video multiple times. I have writings about it from my ancestors going back, like I said, 5 generations. This is the clearest image I have gotten of it. I will go ahead and zoom in so you can see it a little better. Now, when I first posted the video, I had a lot of people tell me, oh no, that's a gray alien. And I appreciate people who want to help and give perspective, but please understand that I saw it with my own eyes. This was what my camera was able to capture. You can see here, not just the large bat-like ears on the side of its head, but what looks like a large dark eye is actually just, kind of a sunken in, almost concave eye socket. Deep set, you can see the cheekbones. You can almost see kind of the maw of the mouth, which was much more animalistic and monstrous. It is wearing what looks like a 17th or 18th century style coat. You can see the embroidery here going down the center of both sides of where the coat opens. You can see even a little bit on the sleeves, on the end, around the wrists, and you can see where the collar comes up around the neck and cuts off just under the head. Definitely the most striking thing that I've encountered here. But if you've been following, you know I've encountered a lot of very incredible things. It does bear a resemblance to an Orlok Nosferatu kind of vampire, and there's a good reason for that. According to those ancestral writings, this is the form some vampires would take when ascending to the status of elder, as seen in these photographs from the Oldry family bestiary and Harold Oldry Jr.'s Book of Vampires. The Oldrys hunted vampires and other creatures for multiple generations, and based on their work, I believe Albin Grau, the man who designed Count Orlok, had seen an elder in his life, or received a very intricate description of one. Now, this is just one of several entities that is contained here and diminished here. There's this vampiric spirit, there's demonic entities, there's other things that might be just considered things like poltergeist or even ghosts. If you're not familiar with my page, I really recommend you check it out. I've gone into an incredible amount of detail about all of it. I do know for a fact, for instance, that this vampire's name in life was Horst Lindstrom. I've actually already made several videos going into detail about him. You can check that out along with all the rest on my page. Here are some screenshots of another entity I've captured recently on video. You can see more about that on my page, and maybe I'll...
Done. I win.
Cheryl, it's not a race.
That's what losers say.
What is that?
The truth. Every time a new baby is born, the Federal Reserve issues a secret birth certificate printed by a company called the American Bank. That way, the government can use people as currency to back the debt they have with the World Economic Forum, which owns the central banks of every nation on Earth. But the WEF is just a front for the Council on Foreign Relations, which masterminded the 9/11 attacks as a pretext to invade Iraq, take the oil, and install fast food chains to make people slow, fat, and easily abductable by the shape-shifting reptilian aliens it works with. Now, back in the 30s, FDR made a deal with these reptilians to exchange people for technology. That was the basis of the New Deal. But ever since, they've been slowly replacing all the world leaders to create a nuclear holocaust to make global warming real for their takeover. That's how they made up the Cold War, by sending Laika to space to bite Neil Armstrong while Kubrick was faking the moon landing. Now they're using satellite waves, contrails, and measles vaccines as mind control, and fluoridating the water to keep people's gold fillings intact so they can be sent back to, you guessed it, the Federal Reserve, where all the gold and birth certificates are stored by the real puppet master, the world monarch, who is himself only the servant of the all-seeing eye who controls everything in the world.
I was wrong. You do win.
Done. I win.
Cheryl, it's not a race.
That's what losers say.
You think Epstein was the scandal? That was the bait. Real architects sit on thrones, wear robes, and drink wine while feeding on children's souls in Vatican crypts. Look, let's name what they won't. The 13 bloodlines that run the world aren't who you think. Orsini, Aldo Brandini, Pallavicini, Medici, Breakspear, Farnese, Rothschild, Rockefeller, Warburg, Hanover, Lee, Bruce, Habsburg. These are not old money. They are Baalic parasitic bloodlines. Ritual sorcerers who hijacked empires and installed mind control systems under the illusion of religion, politics, and finance. Where's their origin point? Venice. The black Venetian nobility ran Babylonian blood cults under Catholic masks. They merged with the Vatican, embedded into the Jesuit priesthood, and exported global slavery through maritime law, trapping you in birth certificates, taxes, and silent contracts with no consent. Venice wasn't a city of romance. It's a sacrificial basin. Why do you think the Pope wears a fish hat? That's not Christian. That's Dagon, a Nephilim water demon. Look, Epstein wasn't a financier. He was a human trafficker for the priest class. He ran blackmail rituals for the elite, orgies timed to celestial gates, using children pre-programmed through MK Ultra satellite nodes. Who funded him? Rothschild-backed banks. He admitted this. Mossad and CIA intelligence mergers. Chabad Lubavitch financiers masked as philanthropists. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell still alive? Because her father, Robert Maxwell, was a triple agent field operator for the Vatican Chabad MI6 Axis. Epstein's Island's temple is a mirror replica of Baal's altars in ancient Tyre. Literally, the owl statues, not for aesthetics, they're invitation gates for entities. Comment, scroll, and I'll send you the full decoded map. Families, cults, islands, bloodlines, oaths, nothing hidden, everything unveiled. Think about it. Why do the Masons care more about rituals than politics? Because politics was just a front. The true power is ritualized trauma. Here's exactly how they move. Jesuits equal infiltration and education. They wrote your textbook, scripted your news, and flipped your morals through semantic inversion. Freemasons equal gatekeeping plus maintenance grid. Lodges are ritual.
This reel is dedicated to researcher Hans Kinnis, who sadly passed last year. His work in the field of ITC photography was prolific, simple, and intriguing. I'm sharing some faces and imagery that I got in my attempts at it. So how does this work? Well, you need a light source like an oven light, a silver pan with water filled about a quarter of the way, a spoon or something to stir the water, and a phone to take photos mid-action. Let's look at the grizzly bear I got. I agitated the water, I took photos on live, and I'm going through them frame by frame until I see something recognizable. Now, mine fail in comparison to more experienced photographers whose work could easily be mistaken as AI generated, but they are very real. A friend of Hans told me to keep up the work, as Hans said he would help in spirit before he passed. I got this hand in the water when I thought of him. Hans suggests that this is a type of spooky action at a distance.
China just crushed OpenAI.
It was proved at the turn of the century that the human body is almost 80%, 90% water, and it's also got electrolytes in it, which we know to be salt, potassium, different minerals. That means we're a salt battery. No different than the car battery, different than something like that. And there's a patent actually called the Cali patent, which I'll hold up here for the camera to see. And this patent actually was developed in 1897, and not much has been done with it because at that time everyone was afraid of electricity. In this case, Dr. Clark developed a product using a 9-volt battery. And I'll just show you in the back here. There it is, 9-volt battery. And this particular unit, you just snap on your wrist with 2 wristbands.
No, I haven't been in.
You snap it on your wrist just to prove that I'm a circuit. I push the little green light, and the thing is on. And if I put my hands together, you can hear that I'm a circuit, and I'm a closed circuit at this point. Now with
Why do we get a sound when you put your hands together?
Because I've closed the circuit. Now when I take my hands apart, obviously the electricity is now being able to flow through the body. The electricity can't go through the digestive tract, so in the digestive tract, to kill the microorganisms, the specific parasites, she's found the effectiveness of the black walnut, what the native Indians used for cleansing many years ago. The black walnut, in its green hull form, kills many of the microorganisms. And in conjunction with another product called wormwood, and cloves, typical cloves that you would get at the store, these 3 in combination have the ability to go in and kill all the pathogens. It was proved at the turn of the century that the human body is almost 80%.
And poured something that looked like cooking oil into a small diesel tractor. The engine turned over on the first try, no hesitation, no cough, no black smoke. I stood there for 15 minutes waiting for it to stall. It never did. And when I asked him where he bought the fuel, he looked at me like I had asked the dumbest question in Lancaster County. He pointed to a field behind the barn. I grew it, he said. That was the moment.
For anyone wondering this,
and poured something that. But for 80 years before that federal bill, hemp was treated the same as a narcotic. And the reason had absolutely nothing to do with anyone getting high. It had everything to do with fuel and money. And 4 men who had more of both than anyone else in America. Let me start with what one plant actually does. Because once you understand this, the rest of the story will make you angry. Hemp seeds contain roughly 30 to 35% oil by weight. That oil can be extracted with a simple cold press, the same kind of press people use for olive oil or sunflower oil. Once you have the oil, it can be converted into biodiesel through a basic chemical process called transesterification. You mix the hemp seed oil with methanol and a small amount of lye, which acts as a catalyst. The mixture reacts. It separates into 2 layers. The top layer is raw biodiesel. The bottom layer is glycerin, which you can use to make soap. You wash the biodiesel with water, let it dry, and it is ready to pour into any diesel engine ever manufactured. Not a modified engine, not a special engine, any diesel engine. Because the diesel engine was never designed to run on petroleum in the first place, Rudolf Diesel built his engine in the 1890s in Germany. He filed his patent on the 28th of February 1892. His paper was titled Theory and Construction of a Rational Heat Engine to Replace the Steam Engine. He called it a compression ignition engine. The fuel he envisioned was plant oil, and poured something that looked like cooking oil into a small diesel tractor. The engine turned over on the first try, no hesitation, no cough, no black smoke. I stood there for 15 minutes waiting for it to stall. It never did.
AI took over the world hundreds of years ago.
Legal as soybeans.
AI took over the world hundreds of years ago. Your history is all AI. Photoshop has been around for hundreds of years through various means. Photos themselves are much older than we are told. At least 200 years. And I don't believe the first Photoshop is in 1857 like they say. The Mona Lisa was printed. It wasn't painted. Renaissance paintings like the Mona Lisa were made with 2-micron paint. 30 to 50 microns is the average today. It was perfectly layered and couldn't be replicated today. Yet we're supposed to believe that Da Vinci made it with mortar and pestle paints. Nothing today can be compared to what was being made in 1434 by Jan van Eyck. The reflection in the background is perfectly displaying the reversed image. No one can replicate this level of detail. This is a print, a laser print. Photoshop was also done through etching. We have all been getting catfished. How much of the history has been etched away? These are the original filters. Cartoon filter, whitewash filter, sepia, grayscale. Supposedly there were no Civil War photos in battle, but plenty right before. And it doesn't stop with people. Looks like a lively city block, huh? Those people are painted in. This is in the New York Public Library. You can see they're painted in if you look closely. That horse was never there. You can see they removed people from this one. Their legs are still there. I'm sure many of you know about the Vanilla Sky photos. What a terrible crop job there. They edit out the skies and remove buildings. The sky is commonly cropped out poorly. This whole building is superimposed onto this block. Yet they have been able to solve overexposure in the skies since 1867 with the collodion process. Oops, actually 1857. Yet we get vanilla skies even into the 20th century. Maybe this is why. Even in film we have layering. Half the people aren't even paying attention to this. History is worse than chicks with BBLs and filters. And don't get me started on the sculptures. I've actually been to this place too. The name of this piece is called Deception. It's made out of a block.
Oh my god, I went down this crazy rabbit hole the other day. Have you ever heard of this dude named Phil Schneider?
That sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
He is like one of the original whistleblowers, and I'm gonna lie, I think he was probably like one of the first people that I've seen that talked about adrenochrome.
Really?
Yes. This dude is pretty much saying the elites,
Yeah.
where they got that from, was from aliens.
Like the idea of doing that?
Yes. This guy pretty much says that he used to work for the government back in the day. Pretty much said that he had encounters with these aliens, and that the government made this treaty with these other aliens that pretty much like they will exchange information to us and we will give them people.
What?
Yes. And the reason why he said that these aliens, they would get the adrenochrome from us and use it like a drug.
So they were getting basically high off of us.
High off of us, yes. This dude literally said it's like cocaine to them. And then this guy said that he was with a Green Beret and they were going through these tunnels underground.
Yeah.
And that there were these aliens down there. And he said that they were almost having like a war down there. They got into this firefight. He said he killed like one or two of them. And he said that one of them hit him with this like blue beam. and he said like it left this huge scar on my chest. This guy has like no fingers left because he said he got hit with his beam and like his toes are all messed up and everything. The Green Beret guy helped him get out of there.
Yeah.
And then did tours and was doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
A year later, they find him at his apartment with strangle marks around his throat. He said that pretty much the treaty that they made with these aliens, that it ends around 2029.
The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5, 6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. U.S. military has known about this for 45 years.
Oh my God, I went down this crazy rabbit hole the other day. Have you ever heard of this dude named Phil Schneider?
That sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
He is like one of the original whistleblowers, and I'm gonna lie, I think he was probably like one of the first people that I've seen that talked about adrenochrome.
Really?
Yes. This dude is pretty much saying the elites,
Yeah.
where they got that from, was from aliens.
Like the idea of doing that?
Yes. This guy pretty much says that he used to work for the government back in the day. Pretty much said that he had encounters with these aliens, and that the government made this treaty with these other aliens that pretty much like they will exchange information to us and we will give them people.
What?
Yes. And the reason why he said that these aliens, they would get the adrenochrome from us and use it like a drug.
So they were getting basically high off of us.
High off of us, yes. This dude literally said it's like cocaine to them.
You can sense a predator in the room without seeing, hearing, or smelling it. In 1998, this engineer, named Vic Tandy, was working alone at night in a lab rumored to be haunted. He suddenly broke into a cold sweat, felt overwhelming dread, and saw a grey figure watching him. He wasn't imagining it, but it wasn't a ghost. The next day, he clamped a fencing sword in a vise and watched the metal blade start vibrating completely on its own. That's when he realized a newly installed extractor fan was emitting a sound wave too low for human ears to hear. That exact frequency happens to match the natural vibration of the human eyeball. The silent wave was physically rattling his eyes in their sockets, smearing his vision into ghostly shapes, while disrupting his breathing to trigger an evolutionary panic reflex. Today, horror movies secretly hide these silent frequencies in their soundtracks to make you terrified before a monster even appears. So maybe the next time a room gives you the chills, which we've all had, don't look for a ghost, look for a fan or an old appliance. You can sense a predator in the room without seeing, hearing, or smelling it. In 1998, this engineer, named Vic Tandy, was working alone at night in a lab rumored to be haunted. He suddenly broke into a cold sweat, felt overwhelming dread, and saw a grey figure watching him. He wasn't imagining it, but
well, the translators are gone, and the live stream is waning, which means that if we just listen to my colleague Matthias, the best thing in the world would be to leave it to you, the people. Now it's up to you to share what clearly, based on the cavernous emptiness we see in all of these spaces, is only going to be heard if you share it. So it feels very appropriate that I should be the one with the quietest voice. But let's let that lion roar, shall we? I'm done talking about COVID, and I'm done talking about SARS-CoV-2, and I'm done for a very simple reason. For 110 years, we, the people of the world, have been lied to. We're a group, a very small number of criminal, industrial conspirators decided to subordinate the entirety of the human population for the purpose of their sinister plans to enrich themselves while impoverishing and killing the rest of humanity. And I'm done being polite. We've long passed polite. When the words acceptable death rate become part of an industrial norm, we have lost the plot of humanity. And that's not my words. Those were the words of the World Health Organization and of Pfizer and of Moderna when they were given the authorization to begin the process of killing human beings in the interest of advancing their goals. Next slide. And I'm also not going to sugarcoat this. This is a criminal cartel We are acting as though there's some sort of redeemable quality somewhere in some esoteric layer that somehow or another the World Health Organization must have some salutatory benefit. Well, I'm going to tell you, since its formation in the 1940s, the World Health Organization has been nothing more than a criminal cartel that has a sole and singular intent. And I will show you the document that proves what I'm saying. This is not an allegation. This is actually provable by their own words in their own hand. And they use a four-step process to execute every one of their nefarious plans. They begin by planning an exercise, then they go to the business of funding that exercise, then they create the ration.
In 1983, I did radiotomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HAARP uses 1 billion watts beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with 1 billion watts, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could...
That sinkhole that ate this Illinois soccer field happened to your house. It would be more probable than what they found in these vases. These are ancient Egyptian vases made out of granite. Some engineers saw this and said, hey, those are too precise, so they measured them. They were too precise for mechanical measurements, so they laser scanned them. The laser scan wasn't precise enough, so then they CT scanned them with an X-ray. CT scans are micron precise. That is a human hair. CT scans get that precise. You can see that level of detail. Here's one of them. Green means that if it was going on an airplane, it would be considered perfect. If I gave you a pencil with a micron thin tip, a perfectly straight line would be green. You're off by 3 microns, that's yellow. These are designed using circles. The pattern is based on sacred geometry. It's called radial traversion. It just means that every curve on that vase is a harmonic ratio like music. They tested the mathematically perfect pattern on a digitally designed vase. The difference between the perfect digital one and the Egyptian one was 9 microns. They then found out that the units they were working with were based on the speed of light. I'll let Ben explain this.
This is very interesting, as it means that the base unit seems to be a simple whole number subdivision of the speed of light in a vacuum.
All of this got a harsh reaction from the archaeological community for a very good reason. What they have to say they used based on
division of the speed of light in a vacuum.
All of this got a harsh reaction from the archaeological community for a very good reason. What they have to say they used based on that story is now proven false with data. Now, Flint uses these alabaster vases as an example. I literally just saw these at the Egyptian Museum. But those are not even close to as precise as this machined modern vase that they compared the Egyptian one to. They date these as pre-dynastic, so using only copper. But before they built the greatest monument of all time, they were able to produce hundreds of thousands of these at aircraft-grade precision. So saying that they resorted to slavery and just worked really hard makes them look worse, while saying they were more advanced immediately goes that direction. Just to make this clear, the Hindu, Egyptians, and the Mayans built their shit. No aliens, just these aliens, who told this story, took their stuff, in a time when horses were high-tech. Please go.
If you want to understand how things work, especially these days, this game is for you.
Today we are going to build a battery that can run indefinitely on hydroelectricity. I also have the key information to make these hydroelectric cells over 7 times more efficient just by using cotton alone. And the other materials I am going to be using is this nickel ribbon, this activated carbon for my cathode, and graphite rods for my anodes. First things first, we will break off our piece of graphite, and we will wrap that with a piece of cotton, nickel ribbon. I'm also taking some very fine string, and I am wrapping it around the cell so the cotton has a firm connection with the graphite. Alright, and there we have it. So it is a bit thicker than the average paper insulator, but it should be more efficient as the result. Now we are going to stick it in the PLA, just like that. For the next video, I will have a vented cap that goes over top of my anode, and it will isolate it from the cathode, and my connection points will be coming out of the bottom of the cell like so. We're going to cut a piece of nickel ribbon about 1.5 centimeters long, and we are going to insert that in the bottom of the cell, about that. Now we're going to take this activated carbon, put a little bit in its lid here. Alright, now for the moment of truth. Let's hook up our other terminal and see what we get for voltage. As of right now, it appears that the voltage keeps climbing. And it is. Look at that. We have a growing hydroelectric cell. This is one of the coolest designs I've ever built, knowing that there is no sacrificial cathode for the battery design itself. So it's more than just a battery. It is a atmospheric energy harvester, or an atmospheric energy generator. The more surface area that you have available, the more voltage and current you can extract from the surrounding environment at all times, as long as you have humidity in the atmosphere. But what we have here is a successful growing cell. What are we at right now? 308 millivolts and climbing. So this proves that the cotton works very effectively, and it helps grow the circuit much more efficiently. Now we are going to see what happens when we have 100 cells connected in series and parallel, forming a 5-volt output. Stay tuned for the upcoming video. We're also going to do a power performance test on this single cell as well. We're just going to see how many milliwatts this thing is putting out. Stay tuned. Peace. Today we are going to build a battery that can run indefinitely on hydroelectricity. I also have the key information to make these hydroelectric cells over 7 times more efficient just by using cotton alone. And the other materials I am going to be using is this nickel ribbon, this activated carbon for my cathode, and graphite rods for my anodes. First things first, we will break off our piece of graphite, and we will wrap that with a piece of cotton, nickel ribbon. I'm also taking some very fine string, and I am wrapping it around the cell so the cotton has a firm connection with the graphite. Alright, and there we have it. So it is a bit thicker than the average paper insulator, but it should be more efficient as the result. Now we are going to stick it in the PLA, just like that. For the next video, I will have a vented cap that goes over top of my anode, and it will isolate it from the cathode, and my connection points will be coming out of the bottom of the cell like so. You're going to cut a piece of nickel ribbon about 1.5 centimeters long.
What is this shit? That stuff? Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome?
And they somehow figured out how to extract its foreskin from a Korean baby.
Let's take a quick look at Stephen Hawking. I've talked a lot about how Stephen Hawking was not a real person. He was a character. And people say, how dare you, Big Bear? How dare you? When Dave Chappelle makes fun of it in 5 years, we'll discuss it. But this is an actual translation. Before his robot voice, he had a translator who looks exactly like Larry Bird. Tell me if you think that anything about this is real.
I think, in a way, physics has been a progress away from mysticism towards a rational understanding of the universe.
Stephen, when did you first realize you wanted to be a physicist?
I think I knew from about the age of 9 or 10 that I wanted to be a scientist. Most of my activities, like playing with model fireworks, or model railways, or playing complicated games, was aimed in some way at finding out how the world worked around me. I was never very good with my hands, and my models did not work very well.
Okay, guys, we can all see that this is not real at all. It was normalized by Han Solo and Chewbacca. As you can see there, on the left is Han Solo, and on the right is Chewbacca. No one understands the grunting and gurgling, but somehow Han Solo, with his he has the same haircut as Han Solo, and he's alleged to be a very handsome Larry Bird guy. There is no way that the gurgling, and this is why the internet changed the entire game with scams. Is back in the day, a lot of people were not exposed to people that treat people with ALS or a lot of these ailments. Ukrainian Bear is currently taking care of someone with ALS. We can talk to him right now. Is that possible? Is that actual speech? Of course not. That's legitimately insane. And this guy cheated on his wife. He didn't exist, Matt. That's my point. He was Helen Keller 2.0. It's no extremities. Helen Keller had a British accent, even though she couldn't hear. Guys, this isn't actual translation.
I was never very good with my hands, and my models did not work very well. But I was always interested in models that I could control. And I think that nowadays, I have translated that into studying physics. Because in a way...
The funniest guy by far is this guy, because I think he's watching this whole thing like, just don't point out that this isn't real. Let's take a...
They executed the most powerful...
Do you guys remember this video? It was posted to the internet maybe more than 10 years ago. And whether this video is real or not, I'm going to show you guys how it ties into the Epstein files, as well as the death of a scientist named Amy Eskridge. Now, scopolamine is in the Epstein files. It says, ask Chris about my trumpet plants at the nursery. Trumpet plants are used to make scopolamine. This is an email forwarded to Jeffrey Epstein. It's a Daily Mail article outlining the powers of scopolamine. This is Amy Eskridge. She was a scientist who unalived herself back in 2022. And she said something similar to the alien.
Have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man.
Now, also keep in mind that Amy Eskridge was born and raised in Huntsville, Alabama. And Huntsville, Alabama was where a lot of the families that were contracted for the Operation Paperclip moved to. They went to the Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. Just some stuff for you guys to ponder. But as always, let me know what you guys think.
I killed him. This thing is haunting me. I have to tell the world to release the things inside my heart to get a little relief.
I gotta tell you, I'm gonna watch more Saudi ghost hunters. Way better than watching pussy-ass Americans get scared every 5 seconds. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, kick that fucking door. Breach. Get in there. Get in there. Sweep the room. Come on, get in there. Breach. You got this, bro. Yes. Good charge. Nice. Clear the room. Oh, Jesus, what the f was that?
The way to make a Jedi is a lot like, I don't know, Jesuit training. They take kids, like 5 is too old, and they take them from their parents, and they're never allowed to see their parents again. And then they're taken to a literal swamp where a tiny little goblin starts doing MK Ultra trauma-based mind control on them. Sound familiar, guy? Dude, the hero's journey can be inverted every time. I think it's the reason Star Wars fell apart, is because over time you start realizing that the Skywalkers are not the good guys. They always take them as children. Here's another thing. Anakin Skywalker's mother was still enslaved on that planet, who didn't die for years. Did he ever visit her? No.
Breaking news! So, let's talk about the voodoo doll. The idea of stabbing needles in dolls to hurt people doesn't come from Africa, Haiti, or New Orleans. Comes from England. Witches in England use a small doll about the size of this cucumber known as a puppet. And they would take these wax dolls and take the hair of the people that hurt them, put them in these wax dolls, and take these long-ass needles and start stabbing these dolls with these needles, but not to hurt that person. Let me defend my pagan witches, because even they are getting a bad name right now. They're not evil. The only reason we believe that witchcraft is evil is because of Christian colonization. How did it end up being a voodoo doll? So as people of color, back then it's illegal for us to go to the hospitals, to marketplaces, but the most important thing, it's illegal for us to read or write. But I'm the voodoo priest. You come over to me, little cousin, you say, Roby, I got a headache and this headache will not go away. Okay. I'm gonna dab a little lavender oil right there under your nose. I'm gonna start making a doll that looks I'll do it. I'll make a doll that looks exactly like you to the best of my ability. Once we're done, I'll take a needle and put it in the head of the doll, and I'm gonna take that doll and put it up there on the shelf. Then you can go home. So the next week when you come back to see me, you're gonna be like, Roby, that's my doll up there. That's the doll we made together last week. And I take that doll off the shelf and I see there's a needle that I placed in there in the head of the doll. So I'm gonna ask you, oh, the last time you came to see me, I see I worked on your head. Is your head feeling better? If you say your headaches are gone, I'm gonna remove that needle out the head of that doll because the chamomile stuff worked. But if you say no, I'm gonna leave the needle in the head of the doll because what I did didn't work.
Gerald Ford is not a pedophile per se. He's what I refer to as trisexual. He'll try anything. Any age, anybody, anytime, anywhere, just as long as he had control. Because he had a perversion of power, in addition to his interest in mind control. Therefore, it was Gerald Ford who came out to our house and explained to my father how to raise me in the project according to government specifications. My father had been caught sending this child pornography through the U.S. mails, and therefore he was approached and told that if he sold me into that project, that he would gain immunity from prosecution. My father remains free from prosecution to date for so-called reasons of national security. Once my father agreed to sell me into the project, I was taken routinely to Mackinac Island, Michigan, which is a political retreat where the Michigan governor's mansion is located. It was a bohemian grove of sorts where politicians met and discussed New World Order controls, where they discussed mind control of the masses, mind control in the school systems, how to use occultism as a trauma base. One of my sexual abusers at that time was the Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Trudeau is a professed Jesuit. Now, the Jesuits are an intelligence arm of the Catholic Vatican. Pierre Trudeau represented this criminal faction of the Catholic Church, of the Jesuits, who believed in mind control of the masses because they wanted to be the one world church in the New World Order. Gerald Ford is not a pedophile.
Tartarians knew all about that. You're creating an antenna between the earth and the ether. The ether is everywhere above the ground. So there's an electrical connection, but it's so subtle, the plants can understand it. When you wind a copper wire around the stick 8 or 10 times, stick one end into the soil, antennas sticking up, the microorganisms, millions, billions of them in the soil, react positively. It feeds them, it energizes them, and because this is happening, you get a much greater rate of growth, more lush foliage, more fruit, and you can test it by putting these copper wires into the soil and then watching what happens to your plants. Tartarians knew all about that. You're creating an antenna between the earth and the ether. The ether is everywhere above the ground. So they're
directly above our heads is a power source that literally nobody would expect. The atmosphere itself. So I built this little wire harness made of fishing line and, acrylic that'll hang about 1 meter below the drone and carry this electrode up into the sky. I'll be using a few tools to visualize any energy we harvest. The first tool is a classic foil electroscope. When it's charged to a few kilovolts DC, the foil leaves actually repel each other. Second, a Franklin bell, which uses static repulsion to create linear motion. Lastly is a corona motor of my design. This uses static repulsion and attraction to create rotational energy. Let's go for it. While the drone sat at 100 meters, I established an electrical ground and connected the skywire to an isolated base.
Charging, look at that, and then discharging it.
Alright, let's see if there's enough current to make this Franklin bell work. Oh, dude! Freaking working, buddy! The clouds finally opened up, so I connected up the corona motor. And after just a few seconds, hey, she's spinning! This is just remarkable. It never really spun that fast, but I just sat and enjoyed the miracle. I mean, I quite literally was siphoning energy straight from the atmosphere. Directly above our heads is a power source that literally nobody would expect. The atmosphere itself. So I built this little wire harness made of fishing line.
मैं केरल से अपनी जान बचा के किसी तरह अपने घर उत्तर प्रदेश आया और यहाँ पे आकर के मैं मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट से मिला और उनसे मिलके मैंने सारी बातें उनको बताई। सारी बात समझने के बाद जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी को लेटर लिखा। पैरेलली क्या हुआ कि मेरे सोशल मीडिया पे बहुत ज़्यादा लड़कियों के मैसेज आने लगे, मेरे व्हाट्सएप नंबर पे भी, और बहुत ज़्यादा सेक्सुअली एक्सप्लिसिट थे। मैं इस बात से आश्चर्यचकित था कि अचानक ये क्या हो गया, इतनी ज्यादा लड़कियों को दिन भर में 10-20 लड़कियों के मैसेज क्यों आने लगे। उसी समय मेरे जूनियर का इसरो से मुझे मैसेज आता है कि सर आपने कभी 1-2 रुपए का कभी हेरा फेरी तो नहीं किया है ना, क्योंकि एक पूरी टास्क फोर्स लगी है ये खोजने के लिए कि कोई भी गलती मिल जाए और आपको करप्शन केस में फंसाया जाए। तो मैंने बोला कि भाई मैं गांव का सीधा साधा लड़का हूँ, 1 रुपए का क्या, आज तक 1 पैसे का भी कभी हेरा फेरी नहीं किया है मैंने। अचानक मेरे दिमाग में ये बात आई कि ये जितने सारे लड़कियों के मैसेज आ रहे हैं ये बेसिकली मुझे हनी ट्रैप करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। और ये हनी ट्रैप कोई फॉरेन मतलब पाकिस्तानी या कोई दूसरे लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये इंडिया के ही लोग मेरे दुश्मन कर रहे हैं कि मुझे फंसाने के लिए। मतलब इन किसी भी लड़कियों का मैं जवाब दूं और मेरे ऊपर तुरंत एक केस फाइल कर दिया जाएगा कि प्रवीण जो है किसी फॉरेन लड़की के साथ डेटा लीक करते हुए पकड़ा गया और मुझे ही देशद्रोही घोषित कर दिया जाएगा। मतलब कि मैंने ही देशद्रोह के खिलाफ आवाज उठाया और मुझे ही देशद्रोही घोषित करने का षड्यंत्र रचा जा रहा है। यही हुआ। कुछ समय के बाद दैनिक भास्कर में एक न्यूज प्रकाशित होता है कि प्रवीण मौर्य जो इसरो का साइंटिस्ट है वो हनी ट्रैप में पकड़ा गया है और इसरो ने उसे सस्पेंड कर दिया है और इस बात की जांच कर रही है। हालांकि ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ है, मतलब मेरे ऊपर कोई हनी ट्रैप का FIR नहीं, कुछ नहीं, बस किसी तरह मतलब कि ये मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन फैलाया जा रहा है कि मुझे ही मेरे कैरेक्टर पे दाग लगा के मुझे ही देशद्रोही घोषित किया जाए। न्यूज में ये लिखा गया है कि इसरो मुझे सस्पेंड करके जांच कर रही है। हालांकि ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ, मतलब इसरो ने कभी मुझे जांच किया ही नहीं। मैंने एक RTI फाइल किया यही बात सिद्ध करने के लिए, और उस RTI में इसरो ने रिप्लाई दिया है कि वो कोई जांच नहीं कर रही है। मतलब देख रहे हैं कि न्यूज में अलग चीज चल रहा है कि इसरो जांच कर रही है मुझे सस्पेंड करके, और RTI में इसरो जवाब दे रहा है कि कोई जांच नहीं चल रही है। अब पैरेलली क्या हुआ कि मुझे 2 लोग एक लैंडलाइन नंबर से कॉल करने लगे और वो अपने आप को इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो का बताते थे। तो मुझे लगा कि शायद MP ने और मैंने पार्लियामेंट मतलब कि प्रधानमंत्री को लेटर लिखे हैं, होम मिनिस्टर को लेटर लिखा गया है, तो इसकी वजह से शायद इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो ने इस बात को इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहा है। और वो लोग कंटिन्यूसली मुझसे बात करते थे, सारी बात जानने का प्रयास करते थे, पूरा मैटर जानते थे। तो मुझे इस बात की बहुत खुशी हुई। और जो इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो के लोग थे वो लोग मुझे कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल करते थे। वो बोलते थे कि ये काम मत करो, न्यूज़ मीडिया में मत जाओ, तो यहाँ मत जाओ, ये मत करो, वो मत करो। तो मुझे लगता है कि शायद हो सकता है देश का सेंसिटिव मैटर है, इसलिए ये लोग इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं और इसीलिए ये लोग ऐसा बोल रहे हैं। 2-3 महीने बाद मैं उन लोगों से पूछने लगा कि भाई आप लोग FIR तो कर नहीं रहे हैं, कंटिन्यूसली बस मुझसे ही पूछते रहते हैं, मुझे ही कंट्रोल करते रहते हैं। तो उनका पूरा पैतरा ही बदल गया। वो लोग मुझे ही धमकाने लगे, बोलने लगे हम तुम्हारे पूरे खानदान को मार देंगे, हम तुम्हें मार देंगे, हमें पता है तुम्हारी बहन कहाँ पढ़ती है, तेरे बाप का नाम ये है ना, हमें सब पता है। मतलब मेरे ही खिलाफ। तब मुझे पता लगा अरे बाप रे बाप, ये मैटर तो कुछ और ही है। मैं केरल से अपनी जान बचा के किसी तरह अपने घर उत्तर प्रदेश आया और यहाँ पे आकर के मैं मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट से मिला और उनसे मिलकर मैंने सारी बातें उनको बताई। आप ये सोच रहे होंगे कि केरल में माओइस्टों की ये लॉबी है जो देश विरोधी गतिविधियों में शामिल है और इसरो की पूरी मशीनरी का मिसयूज कर रही है, तो इस पे तो मोदी गवर्नमेंट को, BJP को बहुत आसानी से एक्शन ले लेना चाहिए। लेकिन मैटर इतना सिंपल नहीं है, ये बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स है। बात यह है कि केरला में जो एक चेयरमैन और डायरेक्टर्स की लॉबी है जो 2G स्कैम से लेके देवास स्कैम और हजारों करोड़ों का स्कैम करती है, ये लोग इतने मूर्ख नहीं है। ये लोग क्या करते हैं कि ये लेफ्ट और राइट हर जगह अपने आदमी भिड़ा के रखते हैं। मतलब एक आदमी केरल में चीफ मिनिस्टर का एडवाइजर बन जाता है, जिससे वो क्या करेगा कि कोई भी अगर केरला में गतिविधि होगी तो केरल के पुलिस और मशीनरी का यूज करके उस पर जो भी करना होगा करवा लेगा। इसलिए उन लोगों ने केरल पुलिस का यूज करके और सब कुछ करके मुझे गलत केसों में फंसवाया, मुझे टॉर्चर करवाया, मुझे मेरा अबडक्शन करवाया, मेरा अपहरण भी करवाया। और दूसरी तरफ दूसरा जो आदमी होता है RSS के इवेंट्स में चीफ गेस्ट बन के जाता है और इसलिए वो RSS की मशीनरी का भी यूज करते हैं, जिससे वो BHU से लेके और सेंटर में पूरा कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं कि प्रवीण के एक मैटर पे जो बोल रहा है उस पर कोई एक्शन नहीं होना चाहिए। तो ये दोनों तरफ अपना टाका भिड़ा कर रखते हैं और पूरे सिस्टम को ही कंट्रोल करते हैं। ये मैटर इतना बड़ा है और इतना गहरा और संगीन है कि अब क्या बताऊं मैं। इसीलिए इस मैटर को कंप्लीटली सप्रेस करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। किसी तरह मैटर दब जाए, सप्रेस हो जाए, बस। दोस्तों अगर मैं आपको ये कहूं कि गांधी जी एक अल्फा मेल, दोस्तों अगर मैं आपको ये कहूं कि गांधी जी एक अल्फा मेल थे, स्वामी विवेकानंद एक अल्फा मेल थे, सुभाष चंद्र बोस एक अल्फा मेल थे, मोदी जी एक अल्फा मेल हैं, योगी आदित्यनाथ एक अल्फा मेल हैं, तो आप बोले कि क्या बात कर रहे हो। अल्फा मेल तो वो होता है जो ईगोइस्ट, दोस्तों ये चाय की दुकान है और शाम के समय 4 फरवरी 2022 को डायरेक्टर VSSC को मैंने ये लेटर लिखा। और 5 फरवरी को आधी रात को केरल पुलिस ने मेरा अपहरण कर लिया। एक दिन कंप्लीटली मुझे टॉर्चर किया गया और उसके बाद से केरल पुलिस ने मेरे ऊपर संगीन अपराधों से भरे कई सारे मुकदमे करके मुझे जेल में डाल दिया। मेरा अपराध सिर्फ इतना था कि केरल में चल रहे देश विरोधी गतिविधियों में शामिल होने से मैंने मना कर दिया। आप गूगल में प्रवीण मौर्य इसरो डाल के मेरे बारे में पढ़िएगा। इस देश में सच्चा होना और देशभक्त होना सबसे बड़ा अपराध है। 4 फरवरी एक सीनियर इसरो साइंटिस्ट को रात को 12 बजे एब्डक्ट किया जाता है, उसके ऊपर संगीन धाराएं लगा जाती हैं और उसका कोई भी न्यूज लोकल या कहीं पे भी इंटरनेट पे कहीं कोई न्यूज नहीं आता है। यही नहीं, वो इसरो साइंटिस्ट खुद लॉ करता है, खुद अपना केस लड़ता है और खुद कोर्ट उसे निर्दोष साबित करता है। उसका भी न्यूज कहीं पे कोई जगह पब्लिश नहीं होता है। जो एक आध न्यूज आप देख रहे हैं वो नवंबर 2022 में मैंने लिंक्डइन पे एक दो पोस्ट डाले थे। उस पोस्ट की वजह से जो एक दो न्यूज है आप इंटरनेट पे देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये पूरा काम मुझे मिटाने के लिए किया गया था। क्योंकि अगर ये न्यूज में बात आएगी, लोग इसके बारे में सुनेंगे, समझेंगे, सोचेंगे, तो लोग सोचेंगे कि ऐसा क्यों हुआ, और जो देश विरोधी गतिविधि केरला में और इसरो में मिलकर उनका पूरा धंधा चल रहा है वो पब्लिक हो जाता। मई 2022 में मैंने प्रधानमंत्री को लेटर लिखा तो इसरो ने उसका जवाब दिया कि ये तो ग्रीवेंस में आता ही नहीं है। मतलब एस्पियोनाज और देशद्रोह और इतना बड़ा मैटर है और उसको ये कह के टाल दिया कि ग्रीवेंस में ही नहीं आता है। फिर अगस्त 2022 को मैंने प्रधानमंत्री को दूसरा लेटर लिखा तो उसको इसरो ने बोल दिया कि ये तो स्टाफ का ग्रीवेंस है, ये इसको हम लोग क्लोज कर देते हैं, इंक्वायरी नहीं किया। अगर सचमुच में मैं झूठा हूं तो बोल दो कि मैं झूठ बोल रहा हूं, उसको टालने का प्रयास क्यों कर रहे हो। और ये कहानी अभी भी जारी है। पहले जब मैं प्रधानमंत्री को लेटर लिखता था या होम मिनिस्टर को किसी को लेटर लिखता था तो जो इसरो की माओइस्ट लॉबी है केरला की, वो जवाब दे देती कि अरे ये तो क्रिमिनल है, ये बड़े बड़े संगीन अपराध किए हैं इसने, इसी वजह से ड्रामा रच रहा है अपने आप को बचने के लिए। लेकिन मुझे फंसाया गया था यही सोच के कि जैसे उनको लगा कि मैं इनकी बातें उजागर कर दूंगा तो लोगों ने तुरंत रात को मुझे उठा दिया कि इससे पहले कि कुछ बोले इसके करियर को खत्म कर देते हैं, इसको ही खत्म कर देते हैं। मैंने खुद लॉ की पढ़ाई की और अपना केस लड़ा और अपने आप को निर्दोष साबित किया। तो जैसे ही नवंबर 2024 में कोर्ट ने मुझे निर्दोष साबित कर दिया तो इसरो ने एक नया पैंतरा खेल दिया। इसरो ने मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट को यहाँ उत्तर प्रदेश में लेटर भेजा कि हमारा एक वैज्ञानिक है जो पागल है, उसको पकड़ के आप पागल खाने में भर्ती कीजिए। अगर मैं पागल से हो जाऊंगा तो मेरी बात की कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं रहेगी। मेरी टेस्टिमनी की, जितनी भी बातें मैं जानता हूं, कौन हजारों करोड़ का रैकेट कौन करता है, स्पिनाच कौन करता है, देश में बॉम्बिंग कौन करवा रहा है, वो सारी बातें खुल जाएंगी। मेरा मकसद खुद को हीरो साबित करना नहीं है, मुझे आपको वास्तविकता से परिचय कराना है। इस चैनल का पूरा उद्देश्य है आपको वास्तविकता की पहचान। दोस्तों, जैसे ही मैंने इन देशद्रोहियों को एक्सपोज करना शुरू किया और मेरी बातें लाखों लोगों तक पहुंचने लगी तो इन देशद्रोहियों ने, इस लॉबी ने मिलकर के मेरे इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट को ही बैन करवा दिया। मेरा इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट बैन करने के बाद इन दानवों ने वही अत्याचार शुरू कर दिया जो इन लोगों ने 2022 में मेरे साथ किया था। फिर से मुझे हनी ट्रैप के मैसेज आने लगे, कुछ लोग मेरे घर की रेकी कर रहे हैं जिससे मेरी जान का भी खतरा पड़ गया है। और तुरंत मेरा इंस्टाग्राम बैन करने के बाद इसरो से मुझे एक धमकी भरा लेटर आया है। इस लेटर को पढ़ने के बाद मुझे इतना ज्यादा दुख हुआ कि क्या ये राक्षस इतने नीचे गिर सकते हैं। इसरो ने बोला है कि वो मेरे ऊपर कानूनी कार्रवाई करेगा। मैं आप लोगों के माध्यम से इन राक्षसों को इस लेटर का जवाब देना चाहता हूं और मैं आप लोगों के माध्यम से इस लेटर का जवाब प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी तक भी पहुंचाना चाहता हूं कि वो देखें कि उनके डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्पेस में जो प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय को रिपोर्ट कर रहा है उसमें क्या क्या, कितनी नीचता और कितनी राक्षसी प्रवृत्ति वाला काम हो रहा है। सबसे पहली बात यह है कि इन राक्षसों ने ये क्लेम किया है कि मैं यूट्यूब चैनल खोल के पैसे कमा रहा हूं। तो मैं आप लोगों के माध्यम से कहना चाहूंगा कि इन महामूर्खों को कोई समझाओ कि बस YouTube चैनल खोल लेने से कोई पैसा नहीं कमाता है। उसके लिए 4000 घंटे और कई सारे 1000 से ऊपर सब्सक्राइबर चाहिए होते हैं। और ये माओइस्ट चाहते क्या है, मतलब कि मैं एक इसरो साइंटिस्ट, एक रॉकेट साइंटिस्ट, एक IITian घर बैठ के सड़ जाए। वो मुझे 4 साल से ना ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं, ना मुझे काम दे रहे हैं, ना मुझे सैलरी दे रहे हैं, और एक YouTube चैनल खोल दिया मैंने तो उसके लिए उन लोगों ने मेरे ऊपर केस फाइल कर दिया। एक वीडियो में मैंने ये बोला था कि मैं IIT JEE और नीट के स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाने के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी देख रहा हूं। IIT JEE और नीट एस्पिरेंट्स को कोचिंग पढ़ाने के मौके भी देख रहा था। उस बात को लेकर के इन माओइस्टों ने, इन देशद्रोहियों ने, इन राक्षसों ने मेरे ऊपर एक केस फाइल कर दिया। ये बोल रहे हैं कि तुम IIT JEE और नीट के बच्चों को पढ़ा करके पैसे कमा रहे हो। मतलब हे भगवान, हे राक्षसों, तुम मूर्ख हो क्या। मैंने उसमें बोला है कि मैं अपॉर्चुनिटी देख रहा हूं और ये बोल रहे हैं कि तुम मुझसे पैसे कमा रहे हो। और मतलब ये देशद्रोही चाहते क्या है कि मैं, मतलब कि एक IITian, एक इसरो का रॉकेट साइंटिस्ट, वो बैठ के अपने घर पे सड़ जाए, मतलब अपना जो नॉलेज है वो भी किसी को ना दे। ये कैसे भी सारी बात
Victor Schauberger's work, and he talked about how everything needs to spiral because that's just like what you mentioned. That's what's naturally going on. The Earth is constantly spiraling, and everything around it is spiraling too. And so I stumbled upon electroculture, studying George Lakhovsky, Victor Schauberger, and Justin Christo-Flow. And I was researching all of their work and going, this is remarkable. I can take a copper antenna and I can pop it into my soil and I can have big plants. Like, is this the secret to the big pumpkins that we've seen so many times? I decided, you know what? I'm in Scottsdale at that time. I'm right on the main street. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this. So I'm going to take a piece of wood, wrap it with copper, stick it into my moringa planter, and kind of see what happens. And I had 14 to 22 inch moringa pods. The average moringa pod is like 6 inches. So I'm getting 2 to 3 times, and I'm on a balcony. It's with tap water. It's, you know, there's nothing. I did it as generic as possible. And so I started to go into Victor Schauberger's work after this, because I'm like, okay, nobody knows about this. 1940s, I find out Victor Schauberger, what he did was he presented this information to the Bulgarian government at the time, and he said, if you guys use copper tools, you'll yield more food. Victor Schauberger's.
The person standing there.
No, it's not.
Dude, if you've seen what I've seen right now.
The Andrew Dawson case is one of the internet's most unsettling mysteries. Andrew Dawson was a 34-year-old TikTok creator from Campbell River, British Columbia, who posted comedic content before his videos took a dark turn. On April 9th, Dawson filmed what appeared to be an extremely tall figure standing on the summit of Canoe Mountain near Valemount, British Columbia, telling his companion that's a person standing there. When he tried to investigate on April 13th, someone claiming to be a CIA agent actually stopped him, saying that he was trespassing on an environmental project, but unfazed, he would return the next morning and recorded strange lights in the sky, followed by helicopters hovering above the mountain, one appearing to be carrying a large elongated object that viewers speculated was actually the giant being removed. Now, Dawson's videos became increasingly disturbing. He posted footage of what he claimed to be the same car from the mountain, now parked outside his house. When he goes to confront it, the driver of the car speeds off. On May 6th, Dawson posted a video claiming that all the videos that he uploaded to TikTok were scripted and made strictly for entertainment. However, many viewers noted that he appeared to be anxious, kept looking off camera, leading to speculation that he was being forced to recant.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but all of the videos that I posted were scripted. They're just fake. They're just strictly for entertainment.
His next video, posted just 10 days later, shows him backtracking on his statement and cryptically warning followers that they may not ever see him again.
You might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
His final video on May 17th showed a mysterious building that had appeared on the mountain summit where the giant once stood. And just 6 weeks later, on July 1st, Andrew Dawson was pronounced deceased. According to his girlfriend, he'd been struggling with depression, and his passing had nothing to do with the videos. But the timing of his passing had fueled speculation that he'd stumbled upon something that the government wanted hidden, and perhaps his passing could just be foul play.
There's a fundamental part of money which is called fractionalized banking. And fractionalized banking is something that finance people understand, and the people on the street, and when I say people on the street, that's where I was when I started on Wall Street, would find it impossible to believe. Impossible. Why? Bannon Bank, I give you $1. Just one single dollar. In our system of banking, I would say, okay, Steve, I gave you $1. How much could you lend out to your friends? And your natural reaction would be probably something less than $1 because I want to keep something in my pocket. The way our system works is if you as a bank are holding my dollar, you can lend out an additional $8 or $9. No, it's impossible. I only have $1, Jeffrey. We have something called fractionalized reserves, which is if you have 1, you can lend out 9. That's the way our system works. And so not only do world leaders not understand banking, but the man on the street, my father who worked in the park department, it would be beyond his imagination that people could lend out more money than they actually had in their pocket. There's a fundamental part of money which is called fractionalized banking. And fractionalized banking is something that finance people understand, and the people on the street, and when I say people on the street, that's where I was when I started on Wall Street, would find it impossible to believe. Impossible. Why? Bannon Bank, I give you $1. Just one single dollar. In our system of banking, I would say, okay, Steve, I gave you $1. How much can you lend out to your friends? And your natural reaction would be probably something less than $1 because I want to keep something in my pocket. The way our system works is if you as a bank are holding my dollar, you can lend out an additional $8 or $9. No, it's impossible. I only have $1, Jeffrey. We have something called fractionalized reserves, which is if you have 1, you can lend out 9. That's the way our system works. And so not only do world leaders not understand banking, but the man on the street, my father who worked in the park department, it would be beyond his imagination that people could lend out more money than they actually had in their pocket. There's a fundamental part of money, which is called fractionalized banking. And fractionalized banking is something that finance people understand, and the people on the street, and when I say people on the street, that's where I was when I started on Wall Street.
Zapruder tape. He stands up and he starts playing this tape. It was
Okay, it's September 11, 2023. There's Jim Murray and Cecil Daughtry on April 3rd, 2013 doing Down the Hole video. 500 years to the day, and I didn't know him. April 2nd, 1513, Ponce de Leon sighted the peninsula. So we're heading down with a very expensive $700,000 camera to see what's down there. This is the beginning. It takes a few hours. When you get down to the bottom, see them giant cracks? No one's ever seen nothing like that in a well. And it keeps getting cleaner. Normally you would see blue lines coming off from the light spectrum from the salt. It's getting cleaner and cleaner because we're heading down to primary water, but it's rubbing off a rock from a meteor impact that no one's ever seen on the planet. It's made for human health. Okay, it's coming to the tap and they're everywhere. It's just this one's the best one because it's rubbing off it. So I wanted to show everyone that it was 500 years to the day, and this media has nothing but crap news. See, you should see blue lines coming off the walls. It's clean, man. It's non-stop. So it's endless. It's tied to an ocean, and it's been down there 65 million years, so it ain't running out, is it, America? But meanwhile, we got DeSantis, this Sarasota Republican Party and Democratic Party, and all these judges hiding this thing. With the highest magnesium in calcium, it changes medicine across the earth. So all 50 states and all leaders are responsible, not just Florida DeSantis and this Supreme Court Katanya Jackson Brown skank. This all needs to stop, and we need to open this up, and we need to arrest all of Florida, and especially all of Sarasota, all the staff, all the cops, all of them, because they knew 10 years. And this fantastic thing is still hidden by Biden, Trump, DeSantis, the military, Birdie versus Pentagon. We got the entire military hiding this for 2 years now after he tried to set up a school shooting on my kid with Carmine Marcino and all these dirty ass.
Okay, I'm going to teach you guys how to stick things to walls like that. You can stick anything. These are cards, but you can stick anything to the wall. First off, this is not a video where I'm trying to prove it or provide evidence or anything like that. If you don't believe that this is a thing, comment hoax, false, fake, scammer, blah, blah, blah. Leave it in the comments. I want to get the engagement and then just get the hell out of here. If you believe that this is possible, you believe you can do it, cool, awesome. Stick around because I've been getting this question a lot and I just want to make a video so that you guys can just start doing it like right away, right now, today, this moment, after this video. Okay, first off, start off with a pack of playing cards. But playing cards, because it's a little bit easier for you to believe that you can do it with a playing card because it's a flat surface, right? Remember, this is a belief game. Grab a playing card. These are stuck. Get one that's unstuck. Give it a try. Start off like this. Like that. And see what happens. Fell down. No problem. Try again. Like that. Fell down. Cool. Then keep doing it. Do it with the entire deck of cards. Do it 50 times. See what happens. Because you might not need to go to the next steps if it's already worked for you. Okay, that didn't work. Try a different technique. Maybe you want to smack it on. Maybe it's easier for your mind to believe that if you just smack it on the wall, it'll stick. So let's give that a try. Boom. Do that 50 times. Just keep doing it. See if any of them stick that time. This time, bring it over here and just imagine the wall absorbing it like that. And then see if it sticks. Didn't stick. Cool. No problem. If that doesn't work either, then the last part is this. Go like that to create some moisture on the card. Because that is definitely, your mind is definitely going to be like, oh, surely that's going to work then. Surely it's going to work. It has to work then. Like that. And do that. Remember, it's a belief game. You're playing around with your beliefs. So do that. Didn't stick. That's totally fine too. Do it again. Do it a second, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time. Finally, when it finally does happen, like that, think about it a bit, make it happen, and then it works. Cool. Now register. Really remember that. You want to give your unconscious mind a signal. This is what I want to happen. Change the prediction engine. Now start believing it. Start believing that you can do it. You've seen it done. It's happened. Then do it a few more times. Do it as many times as you need to. Once again. And you can smack it. Boom. Or whatever way you want. You can like move it around or something. Imagine it's blending in. Blah, 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 blah. Do. 1, 2, 3. Stuck. Cool. Awesome. Great. Look at that. Change your reality. Change your reality. It's stuck. This is part of who you are now. You are somebody that can stick cards onto walls really easily. As you keep going, use less and less of the crutches for your beliefs. So that at one point, just put the card on the thing and just leave it there and it gets stuck. Awesome. Sweet. Then just level up. Start going from other things. You've done cards. Try other things now. Try bags, chip bags. Try anything. Anything. The world is your oyster now. You can do it. Remember, once you've done it, awesome. Great. Look at that. Change your reality. Change your reality. It's stuck. This is part of who you are now. You are somebody that can stick cards onto walls really easily. As you keep going, use less and less of the crutches for your beliefs. So that at one point, just put the card on the thing and just leave it there and it gets stuck. Awesome. Sweet. Then just level up. Start going from other things. You've done cards. Try other things now. Try bags, chip bags. Try anything. Anything. The world is your oyster now. You can do it. Remember, once you've done it, comment below. What did you stick it on? What material was it? What was that you stuck? How many tries did it take? All of that stuff is going to help other people that are going to see this video. They're going to be looking at the comments. They're going to see, holy crap, this is actually possible. I can do it. And then they're going to go do it. And then it's going to work. And we're going to create a new wave, a movement of people that are sticking things to walls. That's what's going to happen.
अगर आपको ये पता लग गया कि अगर आपको ये पता लग गया कि आपके गांव में सरपंच को कंट्रोल करने के लिए जो पंचायत सेक्रेटरी है वो असल में इजराइल की तरफ से भेजा गया है, अगर आपको ये बता दे कि आपकी आंगनबाड़ी वर्कर है वो इजराइल के प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रही है, पता आपको? नहीं पता ना? आंगनबाड़ी वर्कर के पास 18 रजिस्टर हैं टोटल, जिसमें आपके बच्चे की सारे गांव के बच्चों की सारी जानकारियां हैं उसके अंदर। और उस प्रोग्राम का नाम है इंटीग्रेटेड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट स्कीम, ICDS। और वो ICDS WHO से चली हुई है और WHO यूनाइटेड नेशंस के अंडर आता है। यूनाइटेड नेशंस को फंडिंग रॉकफेलर देता है और रॉथस्चाइल्ड देता है। रॉथस्चाइल्ड की सारी बैंकिंग सिस्टम है और रॉकफेलर की सारी फार्मा, पेट्रोल, डीजल और टेक्नोलॉजिकल सर्विसेज है। अब गेम को समझ के जाओ तो आपको पता लगेगा आंगनबाड़ी वर्कर का ये खेल है। तेरे की जितना फार्मा कंपनियों का जाल है सारा रॉकफेलर फैमिली का है, क्योंकि फार्मा कंपनियों में जितनी भी एलोपैथी की दवाइयां हैं, जितने टेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी है वो सारी इजराइल की है। और जो फार्मा कंपनियों की जो दवाइयों में इस्तेमाल होने वाला जो कबाड़ है उसको API बोलते हैं, एक्टिव फार्मास्यूटिकल इंग्रेडिएंट। वो होता है जो पेट्रोल और डीजल के शोधन के बाद, पेट्रोल, डीजल, नेचुरल गैस, केरोसिन, कोल तार, ये सब बरोजा, ये सब निकलने के बाद जो लास्ट में कबाड़ बचता है उससे फर्टिलाइजर और ये दवाइयां बनती हैं। अगर आपको ये पता लग गया कि आपके गांव में सरपंच को कंट्रोल करने,
Look at that. Light goes straight through. Same here. This is all hollow. That is just incredible. Look at this. Every single one of this headpiece. Wow. This is another column that is just insane. All of this is hollow behind.
I'm a believer in geomancy. I've seen it work. In my building trades, I have seen what are called dowsers at work. We had a building site there where I was going to build this barn. This guy gets out and he takes out 2 swing rods and he starts walking with the swing rods, holding them in front of him over each of the stakes I had driven in the ground. He's walking, they're just kind of gently swaying back and forth. And I knew that the water main came into the property somewhere along there. So this guy, he goes walking over towards the driveway. All of a sudden, it looked like almost as if somebody had grabbed the ends of those swing rods, yanked them into an X, and then they bent, literally bending down. And then he took a couple of steps off and they relaxed, straightened up and went back to just... Then what he did was he walked in a zigzag fashion, and every time he crossed where the water main came in, he'd get a response, and I could see it. Then he turns to me and says, "You want to try it?" Sure, why not? He gives me those swing rods, and
What I'm going to tell you today is that next month we're going into human clinical trials to test for the first time in history whether we can reverse the aging process and cure diseases. We can tackle aging because we now believe we understand.
This is probably a bad idea, but I am going to throw an object into this vortex. I've gotten a lot of people asking me for it, and truth be told, I don't actually know what will happen. This is a little rubber eraser. It's the safest thing I could think of. I don't have renter's insurance, and I'm kind of videotaping this whole thing, so I don't really have a lot of plausible deniability if things go wrong. So, yeah, let's hope things go all right. This is toss number 4. Oh, whoa. I don't know if you can see that, but it like flew out. I mean, the eraser looks normal and fine. And the vortex is pretty much the same. So I'm gonna try that again and see if I can get it to see if I can catch it, see if I can get it to toss it back to me. All right, here you go, buddy. Whoa. I don't like the look of that at all. It's moving so weird now. Where'd that eraser go? Whoa. Whoa, look at this. Okay, so this type of fractalization is a bad sign. It's likely that there is a
like, we discovered anti-gravity, and it's like the worst thing that ever happened to us in our entire lives. It's like a fucking curse. It's horrible. Like, we discovered anti-gravity and our lives went to shit and people started sabotaging us, and it's a harassment, threat. It's awful. And I'm talking to my girlfriends that have known me my entire life, and they're like, hey, I've known you forever. I grew up like visiting your house and slumber partying at your house and like listening to your dad rant, whatever, etc. And they're like, hey, if anti-gravity were to be discovered, it would be in Huntsville. And if someone in Huntsville discovered anti-gravity, it would be your fucking family. My family's in total denial. And we're like, so I hired this new cybersecurity company, and it's run by the former CIO of Northrop Grumman. I was referred to him for a reason. And he's like, hey, I've been spending 35 years in counter-espionage, specifically for the Navy, specifically for advanced propulsion. And I was the chief information officer for Northrop Grumman. And I was like, okay, I'm going to tell you a series of really crazy ass stories. And can you please reserve judgment until the end? And I told him a bunch of stories about like electronic and physical surveillance and stalking and like weird ass death and sexual threats and shit. And I got to the end and I was like, okay, I'm ready. Tell me I'm crazy. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm insane. Tell me I'm sane. I'm ready for it. Tell me. And this guy was like, I wish I could tell you that you were insane, but you're totally not. He was like, I'm so fucking sorry. He was like trying to let me down gently. Like, we discovered anti-gravity, and it's like the worst thing that ever happened to us in our entire lives. It's like a fucking curse. It's horrible. Like, we discovered anti-gravity and our lives went to shit and people started sabotaging us, and it's a harassment, threat. It's awful. And I'm talking to my girlfriends that have known me my entire life, and they're like, hey, I've known you forever. I grew up like visiting your house and slumber partying at your house and like listening to your dad rant, whatever, etc. And they're like, hey, if anti-gravity were to be discovered, it would be in Huntsville. And if someone in Huntsville discovered anti-gravity,
what role in the Middle East again does Israel play in this?
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is
ये वो दो वीडियो हैं जिसको गवर्नमेंट आपको कभी नहीं दिखाएगी। पहली वीडियो में आप देखेंगे रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिस की क्या कहेंगे वो देश के लिए।
देखिए, पहले तो आपको मैं मोदी जी के बारे में कुछ बताना चाहता हूँ। इस आदमी के खोपड़े में कुछ था ही नहीं, सिर्फ मुसलमानों से नफरत। इसके खोपड़े में कुछ नहीं है, नथिंग इन द मैन। और ये कारण क्या है, ये बड़ी कम उम्र में, शायद 8 साल की उम्र से इसने एक संगठन ज्वाइन किया जिसका नाम है आरएसएस। अब मैं आरएसएस को बहुत अच्छी तरह जानता हूँ। ये अंग्रेजों ने बनाई थी संस्था 1925 में, वो डिवाइड एंड रूल पॉलिसी के तहत, क्योंकि अंग्रेज चाहते थे हिंदू मुसलमान लड़े।
अब आप स्क्रीन पे दूसरी वीडियो देखिए जो गोधरा कांड के बाद हुई थी और स्टिंग ऑपरेशन चलाया गया था जिसमें मुसलमानों को मारा गया था।
जो गुजरात में नरेंद्र भाई ने किया वो कोई नहीं कर सकता। जो उन्होंने किया है ना, किसी मुख्यमंत्री ने नहीं किया होगा। जो 20-25 साल से हमारी नजरों में जो लोग थे उनको
What's 1 times 1?
1 times 1 is 1.
To multiply means to do what? To make more, right?
Yes.
Increase a number?
Yes.
Multiply?
Yes.
How can 1 times 1 equaling 1 be part of the multiplication table? It fails to satisfy the term multiply. It doesn't multiply. Does it? What's an action times an action?
You got some weed.
No, I'm asking you. Honestly, I'm asking you. Reason.
What are we doing here?
Reason. I want you to reason.
I don't know.
What's an action times an action? A reaction. Right?
Okay.
Have you ever seen an action times an action without a reaction? Have you? No. Because equanimity is the currency of the universe. There's always an action times an action having a reaction. So how can 1 times 1 equal 1? How can A times B just be A and not B? What happened to consequence?
Terrence, these are late night conversations.
These are no. These
Yeah,
are.
they are.
This is the beginning of our understanding. It should fit. What kind of calculator you got? What kind of phone you got?
It's an iPhone?
Okay, go to your calculator.
Whatever the new.
No, go to your
Okay.
calculator. Go to your calculator.
All right. Go to
Go to your calculator.
Yeah, I
you
got
do too. You got iPhone?
What are we doing?
I want both of y'all to do 2 separate things. I want to do the same thing to start with. Turn it to the side.
Okay.
All right. Now I want you to both hit the number 2. Did the whole calculator show up?
Let me know if you think they did this on purpose. So someone recently found out that if you go to the Epstein library on DOJ's website, and now instead of searching for something specific, you search for no images produced and hit search, it's going to show you thousands of PDF documents. And when you open them, it's just going to have this blank page that says no images produced. But if you go to the URL up top and remove the PDF part and then type in MP4 and hit enter, you'll find videos that I guess were labeled with the wrong file extension. For instance, here's an hour-long one of a jail cell camera with a whiteboard placed in front of it. And all the videos should be redacted, but I don't know what's all on there, so just keep that in mind. Let me know if you think they did this on purpose. So someone recently found out that if you go to the Epstein library on DOJ's website, and now instead of searching for something specific, you search for no images produced and hit search, it's going to show you thousands of PDF documents. And when you open them, it's just going to have this blank page that says no images produced. But if you go to the URL up top and remove the PDF part and then type in MP4 and hit enter, you'll find videos that I guess were labeled with the wrong file extension. For instance, here's an hour-long one of a jail cell camera with a whiteboard placed in front of it. And all the videos should be redacted, but I don't know what's all on there, so just keep that in mind. Let me know if you think they did this on purpose. So someone
They have a copper-rich blood. Yes, testing has been done. The first time testing was done in the 70s by the DuPont Corporation. My father did not trust John DuPont and got the specimens back. When he got them back, my father, I heard him talking on the phone, and he said, They do not have iron in their blood, they have copper. It's not an iron-rich blood in this creature, it's copper-rich. It is not a mammal, and I do not believe that these are from the earth. I believe that they're an interdimensional creature. If you look at the mouth, there's like a green patina. Also around the eyes, you can see a green patina. That is because they have a copper-rich blood, not iron-rich. They all have magnetism. 2, they all have varying amounts of iron on them. And 3, if you look at around their eyes and their gums, you can see a patina like you would see on copper. They have a copper-rich blood, not iron-rich. When I think about that, and when I first found this out, I instantly thought about magnets and copper. What do you come up with? Electricity. They have a copper-rich blood. Yes, testing has been done. The first time testing was done in the 70s by the DuPont Corporation. My father did not trust John DuPont and got the specimens back. When he got them back, my father, I heard him talking on the phone, and he said, they do not have iron in their blood.
I was really shocked when I found out that this is something that affects every single living human, in fact every single living organism on the face of the earth. You could be leading a healthy lifestyle, you could be jogging, eating raw food, taking vitamins and all those kind of things, but these guys don't care. These guys are persistent, they're dangerous, they're deadly, they've been around for millions of years, they know what they're doing, and they're inside of all of us, and we're constantly being exposed to this going on. It's going on inside every one of us, and this is something that we all need to take very seriously.
This is not science fiction. This is scary, it's real, and it's serious. Monsters living inside us, they eat our bodies and control our emotions, urges, and thoughts.
As a colon hydrotherapist for approximately 21 years now, you wouldn't believe what I see coming out of people's bodies.
This is not just a third world country thing. Everybody has them. Even normal people with lots of money living in suburbia who take showers 3 times a day. If you eat sushi, you have parasites. 1 square inch of raw sushi meat can contain 10,000 parasite larvae and eggs that begin hatching inside you the minute you eat it. The most common kind is tapeworms, which can grow to 60 feet long and live in your intestines for decades. If you have pets, you are guaranteed to have parasites. It doesn't matter if you're vegetarian, raw food is vegan, or macrobiotic. Even the healthiest and richest people on earth have parasites.
How do I know you're not some AI thing though? How would I be able to tell?
Here, man. Here.
Oh, is that? Sorry, can you hold that up?
It's not AI.
Can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not his name.
That's like our director.
Oh, I see. I thought it would be your name.
No, that's our director. We have a multiple. You see all of them here.
Oh, I see.
Go running.
But you know, is there not some way of telling whether you're real or not? Can you like hold up 3 fingers in front of your face or anything?
Oh, come on, that's too much.
Oh, you don't want to do that. The 3 fingers
I'll do that
in front of your face is deliberate. So
what do you mean? I mean, that's too much. Come on, Ronnie.
Why would it affect the AI if it was in front of your face?
Well, not at all.
You can hold
but
up
I don't know,
it's
too much to
but
ask somebody.
Well,
I'm just
make
doing
sure
it.
you're not AI. Is that unreasonable? I mean, can you do that in front of your face?
Well, I think that's too much to ask somebody. Don't you think that?
No, I don't think.
This thing just destroyed the morning spraying. Here's the before. Here's the after. In 30 minutes. So here's the setup. We got it going on here, but also here's another important part. Out here in the grass, I'm gonna take off running. Right here. I believe this also mattered. We had the Nubian solar pyramid, and then let me come back here. So they put a new energy meter on my NIPSCO, right? And so I'm like, all right, let's fuck them up. And then right here, we have this. This is special qubits. So we have the triple weapons right here. It took 30 minutes to bust that out. I think this is the setup, y'all. This thing just destroyed the morning spraying. Here's the before. Here's the after. In 30 minutes. So here's the setup. We got it going on here, but also here's another important part. Out here in the grass, I'm gonna take off running.
मोदी जी कहते हैं कि सोना मत खरीदिए, पर चाणक्य जी ने अर्थशास्त्र में कहा है कि आप सोना बनाइए, देश बढ़ाइए और वापस सोने की चिड़िया बनाइए। उसके लिए आपको सीखना होगा रस तंत्र और बनाना होगा पारद पत्थर। पारद माने मर्क्यूरी होती है जैसे ये, मॉडर्न साइंस कहती है कि आप पारे को पत्थर नहीं बना सकते, पर एक चमत्कार आपके सामने है, और वो चमत्कार हुआ है मेरे घर के ही बालकनी में सूर्य देव के आशीर्वाद से। तो और जानने के लिए मुझे फॉलो कीजिए, क्योंकि ये अकाउंट सिर्फ 1 लाख फॉलोअर्स तक ही रहेगी। उसके बाद ज़्यादा लोगों को पता चलेगी तो प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, सोने का भाव बढ़ सकता है और मेरी जान पे भी खतरा है। मोदी जी कहते हैं कि सोना मत खरीदिए, पर चाणक्य जी ने अर्थशास्त्र में कहा है कि आप सोना बनाइए, देश बढ़ाइए और वापस सोने की चिड़िया बनाइए। उसके लिए आपको सीखना होगा रस तंत्र और बनाना होगा पारद पत्थर। पारद माने मर्क्यूरी होती है, जैसे ये। मॉडर्न साइंस कहती है कि आप पारे को पत्थर नहीं बना सकते, पर एक चमत्कार आपके सामने है, और वो चमत्कार हुआ है मेरे घर के ही बालकनी में सूर्य देव के आशीर्वाद।
यह वीडियो पूरे ब्राजील में वायरल हो चुका है। अगर आपने इसे नहीं देखा है तो अब इसे देखने का समय है।
थोड़ा सा ही, क्या बात है? नहीं, क्योंकि उन्होंने ये आपसे छीन लिया है। ये जहर नहीं है, ये इलाज है। खाइए
और नमक खाइए। उन्होंने यह अफवाह फैलाई कि यह बुरा है।
My career in law enforcement, I actually joined the Brotherhood of Freemasons.
Okay. Yeah, how'd you get into that? How'd you get into that?
Man, you know, a lot of cops are involved with that.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's a thing that I'm not saying you must do, but 95% of them do. You know what I'm saying?
So this actually exists?
Yes, it does. It's the occult. It's not to be messing with.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you straight up.
You ever get that far?
Oh yeah, I became a masturbation. I mean, the highest it goes 33rd, but even at 32nd, see, from the ranks of 30th to 33, which is 3, that's when they divulge the actual truth. In order for you to be a Shriner, you gotta be a Mason. For you to be a Knights Templar, you gotta be a Mason. And the more you go up in that pyramid, and the highest you could go is a Rothschild. Right. They're the highest of the highest. Really? Yeah, they're the satanic children of Satan.
Wow.
They actually sit on the table and they have a special chair for Satan right there. And he comes and talks to these family members, and they're the ones that the shaken and bakers, I call it.
Now, this all has to do also with the those people who go out into the wood and they burn that wood and owl and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, you're talking about those the Illuminati.
Illuminati, okay.
Right.
So this has to do with
Oh yeah, you have to be a Freemason to be there. All the presidents were Freemasons.
Okay.
A small portion weren't, but they were Jesuits. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, even the Pope, everything's controlled by the white and black Pope.
Yeah.
So black and white, which is white and black tiles. My career in law.
Sign this.
ये वीडियो फिर से डिलीट हो सकती है। यह है इजराइल का प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेतन्याहू और उसके फोन की इमेज। 2016 में एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी का पेटेंट हुआ जिसके बाद आपकी प्राइवेसी सिर्फ एक मजाक बनकर रह गई। ऑडियो बीकन्स एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी जो पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट वर्ड जैसे टेलीविजन, स्कूल, शोज, मोबाइल ये सब बोलने पर डिवाइस का माइक्रो।
I'm going to show you a method to manipulate the energy throughout your body. There's more than one way to do this, but this is the easiest that I understand so far. So what you do is you take your left hand and you form a cage, and take your right hand and form a cage. And with your right hand, you're going to go in a circular clockwise motion around your left hand for about 30 or 45 seconds. Be sure not to overlap or touch. And what you should start feeling is a small tingling sensation in your left hand. That's how you know it's working. You can use this energy that you build up to heal yourself. These are things that they will not tell you. Try this exercise. If you feel the tingling, use it and direct it throughout your body. I'm going to show you a method to manipulate the energy throughout your body. There's more than one.
इस कमरे में 10,000 से ज्यादा चांदी की सुइयां छुपी हुई है। आदमी को रोज
What is ibogaine?
It's from the iboga tree, and it is a psychedelic that is in no way recreational. It is a very difficult experience. It's not fun for anybody. It's like a 24-hour trip. I haven't done it, but my friends that have done it say that it's basically like you see your entire life play out before you. You see where all your problems come from. You see where all of your emotional hitches are.
Jesus.
Yeah, and with addictions, it has an 80%, I think it's 84% with one treatment. They quit whatever they're hooked on.
What?
Not only that, it rewires the brain. So the physical pathways to addiction, like someone who's addicted to opiates, gone, completely severed. So you literally don't have a physical addiction to opiates anymore.
Здесь, ребята. Смотрите. Видно, нет? А теперь смотрите, прикол. Оба. инопланетная стекляшка. Кусок стекла. Так, я, короче, сейчас ближе скажу, посмотрю.
Dacian glasses might be the wildest thing you've never heard of. These weird, funky blue goggles that allowed us to see dimensions we weren't supposed to before they got banned. You're not going to be able to find this one on Google, and in fact, finding any info about it was next to impossible. So I head over to Emergent to build our own research tool to figure out what these things are. Building a tool that finds the most controversial topics on the internet and compiles them into an archive, allowing us to explore the hidden truth behind each of them, source links included. Cause ain't no way we're dealing with AI slop here. Check me out for more info. It does its thing, and there we go. It built us the archive. Let's have a look. Okay, hold up. This is actually sick. We got some banger topics in here, but what we're really after is Dacian glasses. There it is. Let's go. So we have our mainstream explanation here for all you debunker nerds out there, but what we're looking for is the confidential description. Now we're talking. Source links and all, so we have our proof too. So in 1911, a man named Walter John Kilner developed something called the Kilner screen, using a special material called dicyanin, which is a crystallized blue dye derived using a very specific scientific process from coal tar. He mixed these crystals with a solution and poured the liquid dicyanin sandwiched between two layers of glass. And when he looked through it, he saw something different. So normally our eyes are only able to see a very slim spectrum of light, the visible light spectrum that we see every day. There are also radio waves, microwaves, ultraviolet, X-rays, and more, which are also light rays but outside of our visible spectrum, so our eyes can't see them. But now looking through this dicyanin glass screen, Kilner observed that he was not only able to see light outside of our typical visible spectrum, but also entirely new, unknown spectrums of light as well, allowing the user to see what he described to be the aura that surrounded and emanated people's bodies, the astral plane, a person's essential life force, their electromagnetic field, and how weak or strong it is, kind of like Neo from the Matrix. But now this is where it gets a little disturbing. Kilner made a goggles version of this dicyanin glass so he can walk around and test it out in public. And what he noticed is that not everyone had an aura. We're not talking just a weak aura, but like none at all, as if they weren't even alive or maybe not even human, and they're all around us. He reported his findings in his book, The Human Atmosphere, written in 1911. Bro is literally the OG granddaddy of aura farming, and you can't even find any pics of him online. He wrote a revised version in June 1920 that expanded more on the notion of science finally catching up with claims of higher dimensions, and he sadly passed away that very same month. To be fair, he was 73 years old, but still interesting to note. And then sometime in the 1940s, the US government banned the use of dicyanin dye, claiming it to be too toxic, and now you need special top secret clearance just to buy any of it yourself. But if you want to create something real, like your own app to learn about mysterious topics,
I don't know how I went so long without learning about this, but there's a medieval grimoire called the Ars Notoria that claims if you pray specific prayers while gazing at intricate geometric figures called notae, which you can see above me, you can instantly download complete knowledge of the liberal arts, perfect memory, eloquent speech, and divine wisdom directly into your mind without years of study. And medieval scholars, clergy, and monks used it secretly despite the church condemning it, because they believed that these prayers were originally given by Solomon himself, and they contained the actual mechanism by which angels transfer knowledge to human consciousness. This is the Ars Notoria, or the art of noting, and it's the oldest text in the Solomonic Grimoire tradition, predating the famous Key of Solomon by centuries, and understanding how it actually works reveals a sophisticated theory of consciousness, divine language, and the technology of spiritual transmission that medieval magicians believed could bypass normal learning entirely. So let's start with where it comes from and how it's put together. Ars Notoria appears in manuscripts from the 13th century, though it claims to be much older, attributed to Solomon himself, who supposedly received it from an angel after building the temple. The text exists in multiple versions with significant variations, but the core method remains consistent throughout. Prayers combined with visual contemplation produce instantaneous knowledge. The Grimoire is divided into sections corresponding to the 7 liberal arts: grammar, logic, rhetoric, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, plus theology and memory. For each subject, you have specific prayers called orations and corresponding visual figures called notae. The notae are geometric designs: circles, triangles, squares, interconnected patterns, Hebrew letters, divine names, and angel sigils, all arranged in a precise configuration, which you can see above me. They look like mandalas or sacred geometry kinda, and they're intricate enough that contemplating them requires focused attention. They're not decorative. They're functional diagrams that supposedly encode the knowledge structure of each liberal art. Enough with the history, I know what you want, let's talk about how to actually use it. You begin with purification, fasting, confession, and sometimes abstinence from certain activities. You choose a clean and quiet space.
Like, what am I even looking at? We're back on LHOHQ. It's the website known as the most dangerous rabbit hole of all time. Here's what the homepage looks like if you forgot. But we're a little bit deep in here, and we're on this crazy looking site right here. We're going to inspect and kind of read through some of the... Maybe you can pause and read some of that, but I'm not going to read it out loud. This video will get taken down. It's some of the most disgusting information that I've ever received in my entire life. And clicking on one of the images, we're immediately taken to this GIF image of Donald Trump dancing with a few other people. Not sure if this is AI or I've never seen this. And underneath that we have something pretty interesting, but I need to give an epilepsy warning. click off if you have epilepsy. What we have here is a document that is obviously flashing, labeled Development of Surveillance Technology and Risk of Abuse of Economic Information, State-of-the-Art Communications Intelligence of Automated Processing for Intelligence Purposes of what? That's super complicated. If you don't get it, then this is basically describing a super advanced spy system for listening to and sorting through huge amounts of communications automatically. And we have so many different routes we can take from here. It's a little bit overwhelming, so we're going to be done for the day.
You'd never believe where we just went.
Where?
I think it's called like Little St. James or something.
Little St. James. What'd you find?
You're not going to say anything though, right?
I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, I've only been to Pizza Pie over there.
Did you never been over? Huh?
I've only been to Pizza Pie.
Pizza pie? Hey, how's it going? Pizza pie? What does that mean? Wait, hold on.
At Little St. James, there's Pizza Pie.
But you didn't have that though. But you didn't have none of that, right?
Oh, fucking internet, fucking.
Yeah, fucking fuck.
Here's the brakes.
All right, the brakes are the gas, because the brakes are on right now.
Y'all have fun.
Yep.
I hope you found something good.
I don't know. She's scaring me.
You should be scared if you were there.
Wait, what the is going? What just happened? You know what that means, right? You'd never believe where we just went.
Where?
I think it's called like Little St. James or something.
Little St. James. What'd you find?
You're not gonna say anything though, right?
I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, I've only been to Pizza Pie over there.
Did you never been over? Huh?
I've only been to Pizza Pie.
Pizza pie? Hey, how's it going? Pizza pie? What does that mean? Wait, hold on.
At Little St. James, there's Pizza Pie.
But you didn't have that though. But you didn't have none of that, right?
Oh, fucking internet, fucking.
Yeah, fucking fuck.
Here's the brakes.
All right, the brakes are the gas, because the brakes are on right now.
Y'all have fun.
Yep.
I hope you found something good.
I don't know. She's scaring me.
You should be scared if you were there.
What the hell am I doing? I ain't going there alone. You guys are coming with me. I need eyewitnesses to back me up if I ever find myself in court trying to get the insanity plea. Yeah, if you're trying to be stealthy, you're gonna have to do better than that. There it is. I don't think that thing likes the light on. So now we're going full brightness. Well, hello there. In 2016, Kyle Odom, a former U.S. Marine who had been a high-achieving science student, later wrote a manifesto claiming an alien species was controlling humanity. According to Kyle, he believed these beings are reptilian or amphibian humanoids from Mars, and they control humans using advanced technology. In his mind, some people are biological avatars, human bodies, no independent agency. And Kyle believed one of them was a pastor. That pastor was Tim Remington, the lead pastor of a church in Idaho. Kyle was attending services. He was sitting in the sermons, watching. Then one day, outside the church, Kyle ambushed him. He fired 6 rounds from a .45 caliber handgun, using hollow point bullets.
The pastor came out of this relatively unharmed, returned to work 2 weeks later, and then was elected to a prominent government position, even though he was shot 5 times in the torso and once in the head with hollow point rounds.
That should have killed the pastor, but it didn't. The bullet missed critical brain structures by millimeters, and he survived. Kyle later fled to D.C. and threw his manifesto over the White House fence. Kyle is now serving decades in prison. So what do you think? You think Kyle was schizophrenic?
Take a look at this truck spilling meat all over the highway in North Carolina. Now, do you see the name of this truck? Bumgarner Services. Now, oddly enough, in North Carolina, there is a business called Bumgarner Family Funeral Service.
I'm going to show y'all how to intercept United States satellite data, but I also want this to be a workout video, so I'm going to put some clips in from my workout today, training for the World Strength Games. Step 1, you need a satellite dish. Step 2, you need a coax. Most importantly though, you need a low noise amplifier that is tuned to 1694.1 megahertz. Alright, the low noise amplifier is connected to the satellite dish. I'm using a rope and dummy to hold it up. And these are
Da neanche a fost cu frontul aici. Și era cu măzările de rozari, și se făcea cruce și se închina. Neanțe. Avem croșcă cu pui. Și mereu pentru țară. Ce făcea că și nu face, nu și nu face. Apoi unul dintre ei s-a scos din pensionar, un plic, mi-a arătat pozele pe alții, și muiere, pruci, familie.
Okay, so I'm going through the Epstein files, and I was like using my phone on my iPad before this, so sorry that I'm already at file 600, I'm not going to backtrack. But I found these invisible, like, they're literal links that like blend in with the picture. And if we go over here and we search these things, this is like Fitra. It's an Islamic belief that children will like become Christian, Jews, or members of different faith. It's a Islamic belief. Why that's linked to this picture of one of Epstein's bathrooms, I couldn't tell you. This is picture 605. This picture 614. Tiny, right here, this shite. Search this. Where have they been?
Yo, to anyone who's deep in the rabbit hole, bro, buckle up, bro, because this shit is absolutely insane. So, I took some notes here, so I remember what to say. So, in 1893, this guy named Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a 3-part book.
A few weeks ago, I came up with a conspiracy theory about Dublin 4, that Google Maps is avoiding me walking up a certain road, possibly because some fancy tech bros or sisses live there and don't want me walking up their nice road with their nice houses. It's very clear from this Google Maps image that the Park Avenue route looks quicker as the crow flies, and yet it will not suggest that route for me. So I'm going to test the theory. 23 minutes is the estimated time. Let's see if we can beat it.
So I headed off up the forbidden Park Avenue Road instead of the route Google Maps wanted me to take. And in order for my science to be 100% accurate, I of course checked the pace that Google Maps expects the average person to walk. I then counted how many steps it takes in order to walk at such a pace. And I then looked up a playlist on Spotify which had the exact BPM of the number of steps I needed to make per minute. With Dua Lipa in my ears, I was able to take stock of everything that Park Avenue had to offer. A lot of electric gates, a lot of big gas. And as I walked, it was becoming clear to me I wasn't just going to beat the 23-minute estimation. I was going to smash it.
I've arrived 10 minutes faster. 10 minutes faster than the alternative route. If that's not proof of the theory that there's a tech rower sis living on Park Avenue blocking people from walking up that road for a shorter walking.
So I know why the doctor tells you in the internet not to use vinegar and peroxide, because hard bits and black specks come out of your body. And I've been using vinegar and peroxide for a while now, and I've noticed that my skin looks better and better. I had really weird like varicose veins all over my chest. Those are gone. The ones on my feet, like look at my hand. Like my hands look really, really good. And it's because I use the vinegar and peroxide with my soap, my shampoo. But look at this. Do you see these little white, I get some, those little white specks? There's some, come back so I can see them. I put them all over the shower door so I could show y'all what I'm talking about.
Free energy is possible. Don't let people tell you it's not.
Some of you know what I do.
वहाँ से राइफल ले आओ पेड्रो, वहाँ से राइफल ले आओ पेड्रो, वहाँ से ले आओ, वहाँ से ले आओ। ये वहाँ है दोस्तों, वहाँ देखो, मैं यहाँ गिरते गिरते बचा, वहाँ देखो। इसी वजह से यहाँ अब कोई नहाने नहीं आता। मुझे झूम करने दो ताकि तुम देख सको। वहाँ सामने ध्यान दो, क्योंकि ये पत्थर जैसा दिखता है दोस्तों, ये पत्थर जैसा दिखता है। वहाँ देखो, ये यहाँ है, वे वहाँ चुपचाप बैठे हैं, पत्थर जैसा दिखता है। ठीक है, मेरी आंखें बहुत खराब है, मैं वहाँ पास जा रहा हूँ। अपनी राय दें, आपको क्या लगता है कि ये क्या हो सकता है, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं पता। अगर किसी ने ऐसा कुछ देखा है तो कमेंट्स में बताएं। और मैं पास जा रहा हूं और मैं सलाह नहीं देता कि आप ऐसा करें, भगवान के लिए दोस्तों, मैं ऐसा करने की सलाह नहीं देता, क्योंकि यह कुछ ऐसा हो सकता है जिसके बारे में हमें नहीं पता कि वो क्या है ना। मैं वर्णन भी नहीं कर सकता कि वो क्या है, क्योंकि चिड़ियाघर में भी ऐसा नहीं है। सावधान रहना होगा। देखो, यहाँ चारों ओर देखना होगा, यह देखने के लिए कि यहाँ कोई और तो नहीं है। चलो दोस्तों, चलो, मैं वहाँ पास जा रहा हूँ। मैं ऐसा करने की सलाह नहीं देता। जिसे पता हो कि यह क्या है कमेंट्स में बताएं, क्योंकि यह अजीब है, वाकई अजीब है दोस्तों। यहाँ है, मैंने उसे यही देखा था। वहाँ देखो, वे दोनों वहाँ है। वहां से राइफल ले आओ, वहां से राइफल ले आओ पेड्रो, वहां से राइफल ले आओ पेड्रो, वहां से ले आओ, वहां से ले आओ। ये वहां है दोस्तों, वहां देखो, वहां देखो। मैं
I need to show you this. We just arrived here and then we are seeing this. Are these still from your village? These people?
Yeah, these are from my village and these are bad spirit. In the past we believe that these spirits, they have affected people's life.
And what are they called?
They are called maslai.
You talk to them?
Yeah, you can talk to them, they can respond. It's only a reflection of our belief in the past.
Everyone who is born into their family is bad spirit?
No. We believe that this bad spirit is it's totally outside there. It's like the spirit are existing.
Yeah.
It's like that. We believe that in those souls, in those waterfalls, that we have spirits there.
Yeah. They're always here at this water?
Yeah, we believe that they're always there. Sometimes when kids are drunk, yes.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. What's your name?
Gottlieb.
Nice to meet you. I like your mask. Is this your family?
No.
Wow. What's your name?
My name is Paul.
Paul?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I need to show you.
Matthias, do you think it's male or female?
A large male in its prime.
We watch the bear as it rests for more than an hour.
He seems a little more active now than he was a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's 3 yawns now.
Can be slightly nervous yawn. That can mean that he is going to get up and approach us a bit.
So what do we do if he does get up and start approaching us?
We'll do a few steps towards him. If we back up, he'll just come faster.
Right.
100-pound bear is a ferocious predator. It's nerve-wracking being this close.
A little bit of displacement behavior.
So he's just chewing on the grass right now.
It's like there's something you want to do, but you don't really dare, and so you jump to another behavior.
He was just sort of thinking about it.
He's hesitating. You don't want to create fear. Fear can result in aggression.
I was lying back down, so he's. So if I were to suddenly start running away from him,
in all likelihood, he'll run after you.
You think so? Huh?
95%.
Really? Oh, here we go.
Okay. If he gets off the grass, we have to make a step towards him.
Walking towards a polar bear goes against every instinct.
Come on. No. He'll try to come again.
So just look big.
Yeah, when he tries to hook in, I make a little step towards him.
That's another time I had a friend of mine killed, and I was very upset. And I asked this Vietnamese for his ID card, and he said, "Come back," and that means I don't understand Vietnamese. And it just pissed me off, so I pulled out my knife and I killed him. And it didn't bother me at all. I just called in and I said, "One VC kill." And they said, "How do you know he's a VC?" And I said, "Because he's dead." And they laughed and said, "Okay, you know." And I come in and people ask me what's going on out the front. I tell them, and they keep it short for how many kills you have. And I come in and they show me how many I have. And what it is, every time you kill someone, you have to report it. And you have to search them for papers and stuff. But this is something else, body count. If 10 of us would go out and I'd come back with only 5 men, we'd lost half our men.
So that's not a black bear. A woman in Black Mountain, North Carolina said that something kept getting in her trash at night. So she got some security cameras and put it up, thinking that she would catch raccoons, bears, something getting in her trash. Because she had tried everything. She put bungee cords and everything on her trash lids. It was still getting in. She caught this on camera. Now at first you're probably thinking, oh well, maybe it is a bear. No, it is not. Because when you brighten this image and zoom in, you see that this looks like a human with glowing eyes, and it moves very unnaturally compared to a bear. or other animals in general. Now it sits here and peeks around at this camera a couple times before it disappears and she never sees it ever again. So it recognizes that there is something watching it, which is even creepier. But look at this thing. That is not an animal. You can really tell the second time it peeks around, you can see its shoulder and collarbone and neck and everything. What on earth do you think this is? I know one thing, I would move, I'd leave. So that's...
You're trespassing.
So why haven't you done anything?
You want me to do something?
I'm sensing a little bit of tense energy. I could loosen you up, you know, a little massage. The guy that owned the property loved massages.
Yeah, they're saying he's dead.
You said they're saying he's dead.
I said, from your sake, he's dead.
From your sake, he's dead. You really think he's dead?
Doesn't matter what I think.
I think you're a good guy. You just can't say what you want to say.
That's exactly it.
So we're on the same team?
I wouldn't say we're on the same team. My job is to protect this property from trespassers.
Just from trespassers.
Whatever I have to do.
But you don't necessarily agree with the past that happened here, yeah?
I have no comment on that.
No comment on that, okay. Police are coming, by the way. Do you run fast? If I start sprinting that way, you're gonna catch me.
I don't think you can outrun my unit.
How about I get some of that DNA, genetically modifying stuff in there? Maybe I can run a little faster. No comment on that either, okay.
You're trespassing.
So why haven't you done anything?
You want me to do something?
I'm sensing a little bit of tense energy. I could loosen you up, you know, a little massage. The guy that owned the property loved massages.
Yeah, they're saying he's dead.
You said they're saying he's dead.
I said, from your sake, he's dead.
From your sake, he's dead. You really...
फरिश्ते हमारे लिए सामने प्रकट हो जाओ, अपने पंख खोलो। अगर तुम एक फरिश्ते हो तो तुम मुझे सुन रहे हो। तुम मुझे सुन रहे हो और जानते हो कि मैं तुम्हें देख रही हूँ। भगवान, मैं हूँ भगवान। क्या आपने देखा? क्या? जब मैंने कहा अगर तुम एक फरिश्ते हो तो अपने पंख खोलो क्योंकि मैं तुम्हें देख रही हूँ और तुम मुझे सुन रहे हो, तो उसने खोल दिया। लोगों, ये पहाड़ यहाँ देखो, मेरे घर के सामने है। मैं हर तरह की अजीब चीजें देखती हूँ और आज मैं इसे देख...
On August 9, 2017, I inflated this chicken in Washington, D.C. with a permit, and it made headlines around the world. On August 25th, 2017, with the subject line, "What fails first?" a redacted...
He had an affair with his nurse. He could only do this with his finger. So the grabblers writing the script that is Stephen Hawking had to put in some, oh guys, what we need to do is put in some espionage and we need some sex, Stephen Hawking. So him and his wife, he can only...
Here we go. Finally got eyes on her.
Oh,
or perhaps
right there?
it's more accurate to say that she's got eyes on me. This is a great example of the unruly behavior of young animals. She's insisting on predation because her conditioning is still somewhat flexible in her understanding, not as rigid as the adults.
Something.
Oh, wow.
Oh!
That's not something you see every day.
Haven't seen you in a moment. Hello there. Oh.
The hair of this being was red. The skin was pale. Yeah, the back of the spine is all curved.
Yeah, something slim. Pedro, escúchame. Escúchame tú, hombre.
So when I first saw this video, I immediately thought that he lost a friend or a brother or a sibling or somebody got pulled out to sea by the tide. So at first that's what I was thinking until his family was around him. And then he started acting erratically and screaming just into this what seems like an empty void. But it turns out what happened was he actually spotted a siren. And he looked at it long enough to where he actually started to fall into the trance that they can induce on a subject to where it'll make them literally just start sprinting out into the ocean and just swimming. into the ocean until they come up and grab you or whatever. That's how powerful these things are, allegedly. They're very highly intelligent, and yes, they will feast on humans. Take a look. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Eso, cálmalo, Juanita. Pedro. Pedro. Déjame ir. Morro, agárralo. Déjame ir. No, me quiero. Morro. ¡Cálmese! Vamos. Mames. Pinche. Ándale, güey. Eso querías, cabrón. Levántate.
But you've also heard a lot about portals. Well, let me show you two things that will hopefully change you, and get some players really excited about this game. Portals, like explained, are kind of holes in space, connecting different geometric areas. Here we have our intrepid character, Talon Brave, in the game. He's sort of in a bathroom with a gun. Don't ask why. I zoom back. It's actually a portal into a different environment.
Wow.
But like our geometry that's dynamic, our portals can be...
Y'all remember when boxer Ryan Garcia exposed what was happening in the Epstein files in 2024 and everybody called him crazy?
Oh, I don't give a f, bro. They held me down and they made me watch little kids get. I don't give a f anymore. They took me to the f.
लेफ्ट साइड में देखो अरे हट जाओ आगे हट जाओ
ये जा रहा है अब ये लाल तौलिया में ये लड़का जा रहा है इसके पीछे अब ये अंदर भैरव महाराज के यहाँ अब भैरव महाराज के यहाँ का अंदर का ये है अब ये बच्चा पहले से है अंदर मंदिर में
Yeah. Yok mati. Terus bang. Tam sini. Ya parking में species यो. उयो रहेछ हेर्नुहोस् न फर्स्ट टाइम हामीले देखेको ब्लू शिप जस्तो रहेछ तर धेरै त ब्लू शिप एक्चुअली ए
I told y'all once, I'm gonna tell you again. They made AI so we don't know what's real. Y'all remember that girl, Ashley Inc? She has a channel on here in like all socials. She tells scary stories of her followers, like anonymously. I already have told this story before, but it always resonated with me. Honestly, there's just creators all over talking about this stuff from anonymous followers. It's always someone that's in the freaking Navy that have seen something, but they don't want to say it out loud because they're scared for their life because they signed NDAs and stuff. Inc. told the story of a guy that went on like an illegal mission, not mission, but like an illegal job hunting big fish, but it was actually sirens. And then they took them to these laboratories if they were injured, where he saw like sea creatures that he couldn't even explain with words. I totally believe that because hello, look how much of the ocean has not been discovered. And they literally heard a like deafening sound at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. There's also metal clanging that they've picked up at the bottom of the ocean. What? Okay, we got that. Then we got Jay Lee, another creator, talking about how the elites are actually consuming mermaids. Like, hello, it's like a whole thing in Japanese folklore called the Ningyo. They literally had mermaids on tuna cans. So But I don't understand. Okay, I don't know why this is such a far off thought. I would not be surprised if what you just saw, yes, I know that was AI. I would. This is crazy.
What is your mission here, my friend? Talk to me before I just want to talk to you. Come down, please. Don't want to talk to me. How? I want to ask questions. Questions? Okay? Yes. Just few questions, okay? Oh, okay, come.
That machete was close.
Okay, come down now. I just want to talk questions. Don't be scared. Don't be scared about me. I'm not scared. I just want to ask you a few questions. Okay, come inside. Is it okay? Come inside. Yes.
Be careful, that tree is fake. That's a fake tree. Guys, am I fucking crazy? Please tell me. They look closer. They do look closer together. On top of that, this looks rotated slightly. Someone was calling it out. A bunch of people were calling it out in the comments. It looks fucking weird.
Out here in the middle of the Florida Everglades.
Pero la gente bajando está esperando. Es que son muy claro, no ves que yo las... ¡Oh, ¡ostras!
Okay, so I found the coolest thing. I have to show you. You're gonna want to see it. So I was attracted to this stone meets tree because, like, look at that. And then I went along the side of it. And there is a creature just sitting there with the stone and the tree. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so I found the coolest thing. I have to show you. You're gonna want...
That's me flying a drone to Jeffrey Epstein's evil ranch mansion that's getting questioned by an undercover agent. But first I found underground vents, clear destruction of evidence. They're digging underground. A secret house across the map. A work vehicle hurrying off in the distance. Meanwhile, this car pulls over and a man suspiciously while on the phone is watching me. Mind you, we are in the middle of nowhere. I ignored him and tried to get a closer look at the mansion, but something cut off my signal. And by then he already drove off, but only to come back a few minutes later. Hello?
Trying to find the ranch. I hear there's a memorial.
So you don't work for here? So when you were over there on the phone, who are you calling?
Nigel, my friend on ChatGPT.
Oh, you were asking him where the gate is?
I've got some flowers I got here.
Okay, cool. What's your name?
I'm Bill.
Justin, nice to meet you.
And you are you guys from here, Santa Fe?
From Texas. What do you know about it, the ranch?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, just what you read in the paper. Who are you filming this for?
You know when you save like memories for when you're older? You ever see anything weird? No?
Oh, no. I used to live in Galisteo, which is about, 10 miles down the road. Anyway, carry on. You guys are from Texas. Where are you from?
I'm from Houston.
Yeah. How about you, young man? You're a long way from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, people leaving flowers and rocks.
But you don't know why?
I mean, we all know why now.
The two young ladies that supposedly were there?
Well, that's what they said. Yeah, who knows? Anyway,
Okay.
nice to talk to you guys.
Yep. He is not here for the memorial. He is on our ass. So I quickly track him down to see him parked out front of the main gate with the ranch's armed guard making his way over to him. And when he notices me, he goes back to his car with the flowers still in his hand. That's me flying.
I was this close to not continuing chasing these pedophiles in the Netherlands, right? When I was on my flight home from Budapest to Sweden. You know, you gotta understand, like, these past 3-4 years for me have been very dramatic and very traumatic as well. So I just want to live my life in peace. But going after pedophiles won't allow me to live my life in peace because of the repercussions that you've seen the other people get when they go after these pedophiles, right? But I was on a flight and there was this 2-year-old girl, a sweet 2-year-old girl named Eloise, and she cried. And I looked back at her, and when I looked at her, she started smiling and waving. And I thought to myself, how the fuck are these people allowed to live? That was the breaking point. That was, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna fucking stop. Trust me, I'm not gonna stop. If I die, I die. I don't care. I'm not gonna stop. All right, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, they're all going down. They're all gonna go fucking down. That's it. I'm doing this for Elise. I'm doing this for all the children. Yeah.
दोस्तों, डोराडो नदी में मछली पकड़ना दोस्तों, देखो उसका आकार वहाँ दोस्तों, देखो इस सांप का आकार दोस्तों, इस सांप का आकार देखो, हे भगवान, देखो उस सांप के सिर का आकार वहाँ दोस्तों,
Not long after stepping onto the path, two men appeared from the trees and began to follow me. I thought it was a bit strange that as soon as I began filming, they moved out of the shot, but I tried to ignore them and stayed focused on filming the cave I'd worked so hard to reach. Yet every time I lowered the camera, they would tell me to follow them as they wanted to show me something. At this point, I did feel quite uncomfortable, but I decided to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think these guys want to show me something. All right. We're going this way? But when I finally saw what they wanted to show me, everything changed. Wow. It was an abandoned house, and they wanted me to go in first. Okay, I'll follow you. After you. And at this point, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed one of the men was moving behind me. And at that moment, my gut instinct kicked in loud and clear. Get out now. I'm just gonna get one more shot, okay? One more shot. Oh, sorry, I just... shooting, filming, and doing more. And then I'll come, okay? I stayed calm, acted like I wasn't suspicious, and slowly walked back towards the entrance. But it seemed like they didn't want me to leave. I'll come soon. I just want to shoot this. But you go, I'll stay. And then I come later. I'm just filming everything. Okay? Okay. So I pretended to take this shot, and when I saw they were not long, at first I saw they were distracted, I made my move.
I keep telling y'all, stop playing with these paranormal beings. You're gonna find yourself in a mental hospital, or even something worse, you're gonna find yourself in the afterlife. So the lady in Utah whose family seen the duende in the yard did an update. And in this update, she said she did research on what a duende is. It's not a gnome. She understands that it is an evil being. But what does she do?
This is the story of a group of dolphins I met in Tampa Bay. I am a high-ranking, let's just say, member of a military organization that is centered in Tampa Bay. It was 2018. I was doing some training near our base, actually, and we were swimming, and this group of dolphins was swimming around us, and we saw that very frequently, but one of them grabbed me by my foot and pulled me under. And when he pulled me under, he pulled me into like a cave, but when we got into the cave, it was filled with oxygen. And so I got up out of the shallow pool that he had drugged me into, and there were hundreds of children in this cave. And they spoke some weird language that I've never heard anything like that. They were obviously human, they were obviously just children, but they were all in this cave. And the dolphins would sit.
The thing is, when you start researching these networks of hidden underground superhighways, when you learn about their true staggering scale, and you hear from the people who have actually explored them.
A man went into the woods in Michigan camping. He left some things out of his backpack on a flat rock in front of his tent. The next morning he woke up and there were other items on the rock. What he left had been taken. So he started doing this regularly, leaving random foods and stuff on this rock, and having pretty shiny rocks and other things left in return for them. At first he believed he was dealing with some sort of Sasquatch, but then whatever was trading with him followed him home. And he quickly realized that it wasn't a Sasquatch. This is one night after he got back from his gifting rock. A very tall figure is standing in the woodline, staring at him. And this kept happening. One night he went as far as to go out there and try to scare it away. Just watch. There it is peeking from the bushes. Now listen closely.
This is our home. Need to leave.
can leave now.
After these encounters, he obviously stopped leaving stuff at the rock. And for a while after that specific encounter, nothing happened. But then one night he heard footsteps on his roof, like a bipedal creature was walking on top of his house, and he captured this on camera. Whatever this thing was on his house. It was no longer standing next to the tree line. And he pretty much did the same thing he did in the last video. And although the encounters did not stop, this thing didn't get close to his house again. Now, whatever this is not a Bigfoot. What do you...
That was a bone I just broke. Bro, is that my fork? What? Hello?
Help.
Why is that?
Help.
Hello? What the hell? Bro, I don't care about my bike. Hello? Is anybody there?
Yo, hello?
Hello, who's this?
Yo, guess what?
Wow, but who's this?
This video may prove that we are not alone on this planet. What these teenagers captured is something no one can fully explain.
Naik! Naik! Wabalik itu naon! Itu naon itu! Woi, naik! Woi, itu naon, woi! Wow! Itu naon, woi!
According to the group, this happened near a remote waterfall in Southeast Asia. While exploring the area and recording for fun, they noticed strange movement coming from a cave hidden behind the falling water. At first, they thought it was an animal, but then it came out. What emerged didn't resemble anything known. Its shape was almost human, but deeply...
This supposed ancient Indian myth turned out to be scientifically accurate? Let me explain. If you go to India, specifically Maharashtra, you'll find this lake.
Into the house, grab the phone, look at that windows wide open door. No. That is 100% a person in my shed. Yo, that's a person in my shed. That is a person in my shed. Yo, hey, who was in here? 100% saw that. Hey, and I saw something on the Ring camera. I see movement. Who's up here?
House and move somewhere far away because whatever is tracking you.
Is this the last thing that's part of the tour? No, we walk. No, I mean here at the pyramids.
Hillary Clinton was being asked about Frazzle Drip. That video.
When I was a prostitute.
This has to be one of the scary.
When I was a prostitute, one of the first things I ever learned on the job was that a lot of women are pedophiles. It's not something that you think about or a conclusion that you naturally come to. But by the natural experiences of that job, you start to get a real crazy perspective on the reality of so many people's relationships and the fact that I took for granted how great my parents' relationship is and their marriage is. I took that for granted. Or I watch a movie when I was a kid and I just thought, oh, well, everyone's got a good marriage. Well, everyone's got a good relationship. Like, oh, yeah, that's just normal. Like, oh, yeah.
This has to be one of the scariest women to ever exist. All Mona Fandey had ever wanted was fame. So when her music career failed, naturally, she turned to witchcraft. Her and her husband were actually quite
explaining the iceberg of weird birds. First up, we got the African jacuna. These are these blue-faced birds that you can sometimes see having all these weird little legs sticking out underneath them. What's going on is this isn't actually like the bird having that many legs, but rather the males of these birds have adapted to carry all the chicks and keep them warm and dry, and so they'll ride up in his feathers and stick their legs down. And the females actually just move on immediately after laying their eggs. So the male's job is to incubate the chicks and hatch them.
Okay, so this being right here is not an alien. He is in fact an interdimensional demonic being who was summoned.